Tra-la, tra-la. On the Mets, tra-la, tra-la. The Cardinals are coming, tra-la, tra-la. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis. We're at 7 o'clock. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Brooke Grimsley. I'm Randy Carricker. Danny Mac is out sick today, not feeling well, high fever, so he'll rejoin us tomorrow. So we've got the next 3 hours. Good morning, Brooke. How you doing?
Good morning.
And you've had a great morning.
Oh, I've had a fantastic morning. I was here super early if the bosses are listening. Are they typically up this early in the morning, Randy?
No.
Oh, okay, good. So I can reveal this then. I was struggling to find my keys this morning, and so it put me into a little bit of a scuffle. I was running around the house, might have torn it up a little bit, and I eventually found some backup keys, and I was able to make it in here right before we started.
I'm thankful that you're here.
Hey, at least I made it. That's the thing.
And here's the thing about our show is that we stay up to watch the end of games. And the Cardinals and Angels played late last night, and the Cardinals won by a score of 10-5.
Is that real? Is that real?
Yeah.
That they were able to do that?
Yeah.
It was their first double-digit win of the season.
It's amazing.
And it didn't take Ryan Helsley. Do
Right.
you realize that this is their first win without Ryan Helsley coming into a game?
Isn't that an amazing stat that here we are a quarter of the way into the season, and the Cardinals, not like they've had a ton of wins, but the first win that they've had without Ryan Helsley appearing in the game.
Well, you didn't need to after that seventh inning, Randy, because things just absolutely just imploded for the Angels bullpen, but exploded for the Cardinals bats. What in the world was that entire inning?
Yeah, the Cardinals down by a score of 4-0, entering the top of the seventh, and Nolan Arenado gets things started, and you're feeling, okay, we're pretty good. This is neat. We got a home run. We're not going to get shut out. And then things kind of unraveled for the Angels.
And here it is. Line left field base hit. One-run scores. Here comes Goldie around third. Here's the throw to the plate. It's up the line. And everybody's safe. The Cardinals are pouring it on. An 8-run inning.
All right, you guys, let's listen up. We won a game yesterday. If we win one today, that's 2 in a row. We win one tomorrow, that's called a winning streak. It has happened before.
It has happened before. Thank you, Coach Lou Brown, Manager Lou Brown. So, the Cardinals have a chance to put together a winning streak. After that 8-run, okay, I'm Sunshine Lollipops.
Okay.
But as you mentioned, yeah.
Do you want me to tell you what I mentioned?
Yeah, sure.
Just pointing some things out. The Angels bullpen is obviously really, really bad, but the Cardinals didn't exactly look great to really start the game, especially through the first 6. They have to figure out a way to get to the starting pitcher because you can't hope that every single bullpen is just going to implode like that one. And what an implosion it was. So I will give the Cardinals credit. They were able to finally capitalize with runners in scoring position, but they weren't able to do that in the prior 6 innings leading up to that point.
No, and it's really interesting, Brooke, when you look at the way that the Cardinals starting pitching performs, because they allow runs early, and the bullpen with a very strong effort yesterday. But Michaelis the day before allows 3 in the first, right? Matthew Liberatore was fine in the early going, but then he allows 4 in the third. The Cardinals do a lot of falling behind. And obviously their offense over the course of the last couple of days has really benefited them, and they bounce back from the Liberatore start and wind up getting a win. By the way, Kyle Leahy, he's been really good the last couple of games. Yeah, not all season, but he's been a nice find lately. And then John King, maybe his best performance ever as a member of the Cardinals, an inning in 2/3.
Is he back to Jean King?
He's got to give me one more.
One more, and then you're bought in.
And then I'm Jean again. And then Ryan Fernandez allows a run in his, he doesn't get an inning in. Kittredge gets a third of an inning, and then Robertson coming on, Nick Robertson, for a scoreless 9th. And the Cardinals kind of spread the offense around. It wasn't one person. Marp leading off again. Don't know if I love that, but he did. 1 for 5 with a couple of RBIs. Newt 0 for 3. But he did walk a couple of times and was able to dent the plate. Goldie with another hit. Batting average up to 199. Closing in on Mendoza. Nolan Arenado with that home run. He goes 1 for 5. Gorman 2 for 4. Herrera 2 for 4. Donovan 1 for 4 with a run scored. Wynn 2 for 4. So offense up and down the lineup. You didn't have that 4 for 5, 6 RBI night that sometimes when a team explodes, you have a tendency to see.
And really, spreading across multiple innings is something that I want to see from this group moving forward. I know that they were able to score a little bit later on, but I'm talking about earlier on. They only had 2 hits through the first 6 innings. There were so many missed opportunities. It felt like what we had been seeing with runners in scoring position, especially Goldie with bases loaded, not able to capitalize again.
Double
now,
play.
they were able to, in the 7th inning, of course, do really well, especially when you have 14 hitters that were able to come into play. 8 runs, 7 hits, and then it all started with that Nolan Arenado home run, and things just kept going and going from there.
Now, let's take a look at the opposition here, shall we? And I like Ron Washington, and I think the Angels are going to do fine with Ron Washington. Before last night, did I know who Nolan Schanuel was?
No.
I don't play fantasy baseball. I knew who Joe Adell was. Joe has played for a long time. He's been a really hot prospect for a long time, and he's actually kind of finding himself now. I kind of thought that Taylor Ward might be Turner Ward's son. I had no idea. Didn't know. And that's their number 3 hitter. I know who Kevin Pillar is, and I know enough that he should not be a number 4 hitter for a major league team. And that was their number 4 hitter last night. Didn't know who Logan O'Hoppe was, but I like him. Logan O'Hoppe. I wonder if he's buddies with Ryan O'Reilly. Or who's our other?
Riley O'Brien.
Riley O'Brien.
And then the old Irish Jack Flaherty.
Jack Flaherty, yep. So Logan O'Hoppe, I like him. I know who Willie Calhoun is. Willie Calhoun, representative player. Nick Goodrum, heard of him? But Nico Goodrum, never really seen him play much. And then Nito, I knew was their first-round draft choice. He's played against the Cardinals before. And then their number 9 hitter last night was Kyron Paris. Didn't know him. So, for the most part, I didn't know who the Angels were last night. And I really do like their right-hander. He pitched great, Jose Soriano. But again, I'd never seen him pitch before.
And that's the thing, is that with the Angels, this is a really, really bad team that has also been plagued by injuries. 14 players that they've had dealing with injuries, including, of course, Mike Trout.
Yep.
And that is a huge loss for them. From the 618, can't talk about how the Cardinals need to find ways to win games and then say they need to do better after 10 runs on 10 hits.
I didn't say they need to do better last night. They were great. 10 runs on 10
last night
hits
was
fun.
great. It's just moving forward, are they able to continue to grow off of that?
But we're talking about this one game, and this one game this is what we're looking for, right? We want them to score 10 runs a game.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
If they were able to do that formula every single game, then we wouldn't have much to complain about.
Right, exactly. So we're focused on this game, and sure, you would like them to be able to do this all the time, but the fact of the matter is they haven't yet. Maybe they will. I don't know. But last night was fun, and I think we should all enjoy it because it's been a rare occurrence so far this year.
It really has.
60-cent drinks at Mobile on the Run, Brooke.
Oh, there's another plus side there.
Sunshine lollipops.
Bunnies and roses over there.
Yeah. The Cardinals' first double-digit runs game of the year. They had 11 last season. I think the Twins have had something like 6 already this season. The Cardinals have their first as they wrap up. I guess they have, 40 and a quarter games would be the quarter point of the season, right? So they got past the quarter point of the season, and they finally scored 10 runs in a game, and they scored more than 5 runs just 7 total times this season, this being the second such instance in May. So out of a quarter of the season, again, more than 40 games, 41 now, they have provided us 60-cent drinks 7 times. Not enough. Not enough.
Not enough of the Mobile on the Run drinks, because that's what we're really looking forward to here. Now, are you fully, this could start something for the Cardinals, but what is your expectation now of what they should do against the Angels in the rest of the series? They should definitely win the series, but now I feel like you should sweep the series.
Well, here's the thing, Brooke. We talk about how bad the Angels are, but the Cardinals aren't good either. And the record reflects that, right? They're 17-24. And they are 2-9 or 2-7 in their last 9 because they had a 7-game losing streak. So while the Angels are not good, I don't know that the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals, from a talent standpoint, are substantially better, but I don't know if their performance is substantially better. when you put the two rosters side by side and the two lineups that we saw last night, Cardinals should sweep them, no doubt about it. And by the way, tonight the Cardinals will pitch Sonny Gray, so that should be a W, right? He goes against, is it Reed Detmers? I believe is Reed Detmers for the Angels. And then tomorrow you've got, and it's another night game, by the way, Lance Lynn against Griffin Canning. So, yeah, theoretically, the Cardinals should sweep this. But the offense has been on such a roller coaster ride. It's really hard for me to imagine that they're going to be able to put that together. Now, maybe they found it. Maybe they figured things out after that win in the finale against Milwaukee and last night. Maybe they're on their way now. Maybe all of this positive talk out of that clubhouse has been real.
The gamesmanship that we saw from Ollie Marmol last night, too. Icing the pitcher. What did you think of that situation?
Yeah, I just think he's brilliant. That was a Tony La Russa move, if ever there was one. Tony would do that kind of thing, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he ice a pitcher? It was sensational.
Talk about the growth from one day to the next. I mean, yesterday we're kind of making fun of him a little bit for selling the hand, for literally showing your hand post game on the ejection, and then he comes out with this deft move.
I know it's a trite phrase, and I know we hear it too much, but Ollie Marmol, chess, not checkers.
Randy, come on. I was very confused by that situation. I didn't know exactly what's going on. Did we get a full explanation after the game as to what was happening?
I haven't seen it if we have.
No, I wasn't able to see it either. But according to Ben Fredrickson of the Post-Dispatch, he put this out. Recent home game batting practice music volume was cranked up on the field. Found it was the manager's request. So that's, of course, Ollie Marmol.
Yeah.
The ejection the other day, the icing. Can't say he's not trying.
No,
Maybe is this part of the John Mozeliak, those comments? Is this Ollie Marmol showing you want to keep me here?
I think so. I think it is. So when you go to the game against Boston on Friday night, Cardinals have an off day on Thursday. When you go to the game against Boston, get there early to tune into the loud music.
Get there early to
tune into the loud batting practice music.
How much louder is it? Because it is already pretty loud during batting practice, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. But you can find out by getting there against Boston. By the way, the Cardinals have a great, let me get down to this. They have a great ticket promo going on. You can get, for the Red Sox, you can get $29 tickets this weekend. $29 field boxes. Pretty
Seems
good,
like a good deal.
It is. And you've got the rope hat coming up, the mystery rope hat coming up, which is exciting. So,
is it exciting?
Well, I'm a cap guy, as you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would like one.
I feel like you're trying to set me up for something
I'm
here,
not.
Randy.
Well, I am. Yeah, okay. I am. So anyway, the dynamic deal of the week, let me check here, is $29 field box tickets for this weekend. And you can also get left and right field boxes, lower level, for $29 for Friday night and on Sunday. Other action last night in sports, some positivity from City Park as Bradley Carnell updated Edwin Leuven's status during yesterday's press match presser. Do we have that sound right now, Matthew? Well, let's hear from Carnell.
Yeah, I mean, he's training with us. He's lost a bit of fitness. He's working his way back. He's a gem of a human being to be around. So he makes us stronger with his presence and his footballing qualities. It's going to be a ways for him to get back. I think that's obvious. But yeah, we'll see how he progresses this week to see if he plays a role on Wednesday or if he plays a role on Saturday. I'm confident of one or the other.
That's awesome. That's great. I thought he was talking about me at first. Kind of a lost some conditioning, gem of a human being,
No, Randy. So, you had a very busy week. Didn't you say you went biking this past weekend?
I did, yeah.
There you go. So you're up to fitness.
But I don't know if I could play in a match on tomorrow or Saturday, though, Leuven can.
Especially what they are doing out there.
But good to have him back.
Leuven was supposed to speak yesterday, but he didn't just yet. So I would assume that instead of being available on Wednesday, that he'd be available on Saturday. Wouldn't you think, Rocc?
Yeah. I mean, in the him talking was kind of a, because here's the thing. I mean, they play on Wednesday, so maybe he talks on Thursday or Friday. I should say when they do that media availability. So and maybe he just decided he didn't want to actually do the availability. He just tell him more confident that I'm playing one of the two. I'm not sure, he might still do it. But obviously him saying he's confident that he plays a role in one or the other, that's the good thing, because like we've all been talking about for this whole thing, it's going to take a while for him to ramp up to actually being able to play a full game.
All right, looking forward to him being back on the pitch for St. Louis City SC. NHL playoffs last night, the Rangers fall to the Hurricanes by a score of 4-1. Rangers still lead that series 3-2, and the Stars crunched the Avalanche 5-1. Dallas leads that series 3-1. So go Stars. I hate the idea that Jamie Benn is a creep is going to win a series, but that's fine.
It's hard to root for either one.
Yeah, he's going to win it against a bigger creep.
A bigger creep and Stan Kroenke's team. Is that what you're saying there?
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like you kind of have to root for the Dallas Stars in that situation. Now, I know that we have a big Colorado fan, big Stan Kroenke fan in the room because he loves the Denver Nuggets. But yeah.
Yeah, the Valerie Niskushin news yesterday was rough. I took it. I really
suspended for 6 months.
But like it's because he's like he donated too much of his salary to charity, right?
Oh well, yeah.
That's what happened, right?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Kind of,
you see what a good guy.
Yeah. So that's the way it goes sometimes. Feel for him. And then in the NBA last night, Jason Tatum and the Celtics over the Cavs, 109-102. Celtics lead that series 3-1. And the Thunder held off the Mavs 100-96. That was a great game. I stayed up to the end of that one. And that one is tied at 2 games apiece now.
Is that the one that you switched over to during the Cardinals game?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
After that seventh inning.
Yeah.
You were like, all right.
Who needed to watch the Cardinals anymore? Right?
I guess not.
Once the Cardinals have that inning, it's game over. And I was flipping. The remote control was working overtime.
You didn't get like a wee bit nervous?
I really didn't. No. I was as comfortable as they are.
Oh, this team is rocking, Randy.
They are. So we're off and running here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Coming up, Cardinal President Bill DeWitt says, contrary to popular belief, the Redbirds aren't asking for public funds for a stadium. Yet. That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, I want you to know what's going on at Hoffman Brothers because they do fantastic work for our community, and they're hiring right now. So if you're a plumber or an HVAC field pro and you're looking for a change, Hoffman Brothers is for you. They've got top guaranteed pay in the market, 3 weeks paid vacation, unbelievable benefits. It's the best company to work for in town if you're an HVAC pro. And because they have such good people, now's the time to get in touch with Hoffman Brothers about your air conditioner for the summer. The warm St. Louis summer heat is headed our way, and if you haven't scheduled your air conditioner tune-up yet, you need to. Hoffman Brothers is going to come out to your house, and their friendly and knowledgeable tech is going to clean out your air conditioner, make sure it's good to go for the summer months. And also, they're experts at determining how much life is left in that AC. So if you're going to need new air conditioning next year, they'll say, hey, you might want to save up some money because next year is going to be the year where you want to get that thing fixed. Hoffman Brothers is an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. They've been doing great work in St. Louis for more than 40 years. And as we approach the summer, worst thing that can happen is to have your air conditioner go go out when it's 110 degrees in St. Louis, unless it's like 120 in Phoenix, but that's different. You aren't in Phoenix, you're in St. Louis. So call Hoffman Brothers at 314-664-3011, 314-664-3011, or go to hoffmanbros.com.
The RFT did this article that, the article title was Cardinals seeking public funding, which is just a lie. I mean, we're not out there seeking anything. I don't even know what the full project is going to look like. We're just embarking on that process of determining those big items, the sequence of those items, and then the next step would be, how we would finance it. So all of that's a little premature.
That's the Cardinal president, Bill DeWitt, with Martin Kilcoyne. And if you go to the Scoops Network, you can hear that entire interview. That's the interview in which Bill DeWitt mentioned that the Cardinals have this revenue machine that they put into payroll. But that was an interesting comment that the Riverfront Times did an article about the Cardinals asking for public funds for a stadium. And Bill DeWitt, to quote, said that's a lie because they don't know where they are right now. Brooke, I would hope, and we've talked a lot about the Cardinals' inability to read the room lately, right? If the Kansas City Chiefs can't get people to vote for stadium improvements for Arrowhead Stadium, the Cardinals on this side of the state are not going to get people to vote for improvements to Busch Stadium. And I really appreciate it, and I bring it up all the time, that the Cardinals took it upon themselves to build Busch Stadium. They spent $390 million to build the ballpark in 2006, and it's been a great ballpark, and they've done an amazing job of maintaining the ballpark. That being said, I think the appetite, and we know that Bill DeWitt Jr. is a billionaire and the family are billionaires, the appetite to provide money for billionaires to help their facilities just isn't there. If Hubbard Radio, and we had a major renovation a couple of years ago, would have gone to any local government and said, yeah, we would like you to finance our renovation of our facilities, we would have been laughed out of the room. And it's been historically different for sports teams, but I think that worm has turned now in many cases on a public level. Now, I will point out that it never got to the public level in Buffalo when they started construction of their new stadium. And it never got to a public level in Nashville, right, for the new football stadium there. This was all done in government circles, right?
Yes.
But if it goes to the public, heck, we turned down a soccer stadium, too, in St. Louis. If it goes to the public, I don't think that billionaires are going to be voted, that they're going to get funds anymore. And so I'm glad that Bill DeWitt said, hey, we haven't even started or asked for money. I would hope the Cardinals don't.
And I will say that the headline of that was very misleading. And a lot of people just read the headline. So if you saw that, you're like, oh, wait, they're about to start asking for public funding here soon? Seriously? How much is that going to cost? And then you see the estimate. And you're like, why would they need to do that right now? But if you go into the actual story, the headline was very misleading with that article. But here's the thing is that nowadays, as we know, we've talked about, Randy, a lot of people just read the headline.
Yes.
I even just read the headline, and then it's clickbait to get you to go and read the rest of the article where you're like, okay, that's not fully the case here. That headline is a little misleading. So that was good of Bill DeWitt III to be able to call them out. But let's just say renovations wise, and I completely understand the Chiefs, they just won a Super Bowl and you couldn't even get public funding in that aspect. There does have to be somewhat of a give and take here with public funding. I think there is some good aspects of it because it is very expensive, but at the same time, this is where reading the room comes into play. So in the rest of the interview that we discussed, the tone maybe wasn't the best, and it really wasn't. It's kind of tone deaf when Bill DeWitt III was talking about the fans specifically and about the revenue model and about people coming in and how that works into the aspect of their payrolls. And so people not showing up and kind of chuckling about that, that was not the right tone, because if you are eventually going to ask for public funding, you have to be cognizant of, one, what the team looks like right now. The economy has a big play and factor into people's thoughts into public funding, especially for something as big of a project as that. So you have to read the room in that aspect of, if you're asking for something, you have to be fully aware of all the different aspects of the economy, how people feel about things like that right now, and also the product that you're putting on the field. If the Cardinals are performing badly, people will be less inclined to want to give money to any sort of project.
Right. And by the way, I don't want to be hypocritical here, because I am, and I've said this for years, I am a one-issue voter. And all I care about from my politicians is sports. If I have the choice, one politician says, I'm going to build a stadium and I'm going to provide stadium funding, but it's going to cost us quality roads, and the other person is saying, I'm going to build quality roads. I don't care about your stadium. I want the stadium. I've got an SUV, a big one. I don't need to have quality roads. So I'm a one-issue voter in this regard. So I would vote for the improvements, and specifically for that organization, because the Cardinal organization and the enterprise people, the Taylor family, from my view, and somebody can text in if you'd like and correct me if I'm wrong, 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! If you look at what has happened in downtown St. Louis, the investment in downtown St. Louis over the course of the last 15 years, it's been Busch Stadium, it's been Ballpark Village, it's been City Park. Who else, what other private companies have invested in downtown St. Louis to that level, to the level that the Cardinals have,
I can't think
or
of
the
any.
Taylor family?
No.
Maybe there is somebody, and I don't know about it. And you know who I'm going to throw in there? Lodging Hospitality Management, our friends Bob and Steve O'Loughlin with Union Station and some of the things that they've done in the city. But aside from those three entities, I don't see, and it's important to say that two of them are huge sport, well, three of them, because the O'Loughlins are huge supporters of St. Louis sports. So all of the real big investment in downtown St. Louis seems to be coming from sports people.
It really
and the
is.
Cardinals are a huge part of it.
Because it's a sports town.
Right.
So that's where your investment should be coming from. And even the vision that Carolyn Kindle and that ownership group with STLCitySC has, and what they've been able to do with, they kept talking about really the renovation of downtown St. Louis, especially that whole area.
Yep.
And if you go over there, it's beautiful, everything that they've been able to do to upgrade that area. The Cardinals adding Ballpark Village, that was a fantastic addition, because it's really cool where you have a place to just go and hang out, and you can easily just walk right over into the stadium to go watch a game. Or you could stay in Ballpark Village and still watch a game. So I understand the public funding aspect of it. And it kind of sounds like, if you look into it, that with the public funding, some of the things they're looking for, they would liken it to what the Brewers did with some of the upgrades. It's just things to upgrade around the stadium, which I completely understand. You would think it wouldn't cost that much, but then when you see the price tag of that stuff, Randy, I think that a lot of people would be really surprised how expensive all that stuff gets.
Right. And if we look at government, what the government spends money on, there's a lot worse things that you can spend it on than helping out our sports teams. There are a lot of things. Hell, did you see that the city, the city, and I know we're getting off on this is totally a tangent, but Tashara Jones wants to loan people money to pay their taxes on their cars. She wants to loan city residents money so that they can pay their overdue tax bill because they're driving around with expired temporary tax. She wants to use money from the pandemic money to loan people money who will never pay that money back to pay their taxes.
I have not seen that.
It's crazy.
I have not seen that whatsoever.
Elliot Davis, you asked for it or something like what's Elliot Davis?
Oh, he's
you paid
Fox
for it.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Elliot, he's awesome. I love him.
I love those stories.
And he did a story about it, and it's just ridiculous.
That's not exactly helpful in this situation. Now, real quick, I know that we have to get out, but we're getting a lot of good texts about this. From Janet, public funding won't make it to the vote. The aldermen will poo-poo it.
I think there's a law in St. Louis now. I think there's a law that any sports stadium improvement or construction has to go to a public vote. That's why the previous soccer stadium, the Dave Peacock Soccer Stadium, went to a public vote. I think that's the law in St. Louis now.
I remember when we had, and you were out there too for CitySC when they were looking for just tax credits, right? Was that when they went and spoke to the alderman, or it was just even pitching the idea of having the park downtown?
Exactly, right, having it in the city.
And I remember with the alderman when they were discussing it, a lot of stuff was brought up about Stan Kroenke and that whole situation. I understand being, snake bitten by that whole situation. There's no good way to explain it. But Carolyn Kindle is somebody who has shown that she's invested in the community, and she was already putting up so much money. That's something that was different than what Stan Kroenke was able to do.
Right.
Funding it, the majority of it herself.
Right. And the Taylor family, and actually Carolyn's old job with the foundation, they have given so much money to St. Louis Public Schools, so much money to Forest Park Forever, so much money to supporting the Muni and other events in St. Louis, events and entities. If there's a family that we should never question in town, if they ever ask for anything, it's the Taylor family.
100%.
Never. And to me, I put the DeWitt family on an equal pedestal there.
And with Carolyn Kindle, I saw her go, and with the aldermen, it's a long day going and speaking in front of them and presenting your case about what you're doing and your vision for everything. She spent all day answering every single question. Here's another one from the 314. How about the Rams settlement money for the city? Why should I pay for it? Now, this is a very fair question and one that I see a lot. But with the Rams settlement money, that money is split amongst 3 entities. Mm-hmm. So it's not like all of that is going to be used by one group of people who come together and make a decision. There's a problem in that it's 3 different groups of people who are having to come together and make separate decisions on how they want to use that money. And how everybody wants to use that money is something that they haven't been able to decide to do just yet.
Right, which is amazing because that settlement occurred in 2021. We're closing in on 3 years. I think maybe even 2020. Maybe we're closing in on 4 years since that settlement was reached. And the money is just sitting there. Now, I have no problem with that. I'm guessing that it had never happened, but the Rams settlement money going to enhancements of our St. Louis sports community, that wouldn't break my heart.
That's exactly what you need.
Yeah. So I think that is a good idea. I have no problem with that at all. That's Brooke. I'm Randy, and it's the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Yesterday, Adam Schefter broke the story that the NFL Thursday night opener is the Chiefs-Ravens. But based on the schedule, what should the Sunday night opener be for 2024? We have our ideas next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you are feeling down today, if you are not as enthusiastic, if you're not as chipper as you used to be, then you might have an issue with low T. Guys, as we pass our 30th birthday, our testosterone level decreases, and that's why we need Mentality. 2 great locations in Chesterfield and South County. Find them on the web at lowtusa.com. And if you are dealing with low energy, low motivation, maybe you're moody or irritable or not as mentally sharp as you used to be, could be an issue with low T. That's why you should make your appointment at lowtusa.com. And those physicians, board-certified physicians, are going to do a complete panel on your blood work, find out where your testosterone level is, and then when they do, they've got an FDA-approved testosterone treatment that will restore your testosterone level back to where it was when you were in your 20s. And the natural level for testosterone is quite wide. They're going to get you up to the top level that you used to be at when you were in your 20s. So you get the energy level back and you aren't as moody and you're much sharper mentally. Learn more about Mentality at lowtusa.com and get back to being that guy that you used to be and that you want to be with Mentality.
This is Rocc with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. It looks rough early, but the Cardinals come out with a 10-5 victory in their opening game against the Los Angeles Angels. Game 2 tonight, 8:38 p.m. It's going to be Sonny Gray facing off against the lefty for the Angels, Reed Detmers. Detmers on the season is 3 for 4 with a 4.96 ERA and a 1.28 WHIP. Sonny Gray, on the other hand, his ERA has jumped up to 2.29, but he's still sitting with a sub-1 WHIP throughout the start of this season. Last night in the NHL playoffs, the Hurricanes over the Rangers 4-1. They have stormed back, and that series lead now for the Rangers is down to 3-2. The Stars over the Avalanche for a bad day to beat Colorado, and Dallas now leads 3-1. In the NBA playoffs, the Celtics over the Cavaliers 109-102. Celtics lead that series 3-1, and the Thunder came back to even up their series against the Mavericks 2 games apiece. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
The NFL schedule is slowly being released, and tomorrow they're going to have the complete release. But ESPN has reported this morning, breaking news, that the opening Monday night game for Joe Buck and Troy Aikman is going to be Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets at Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. The Jets at San Francisco. The Jets will be on the Monday night opener for the second year in a row. Let's see how many plays Aaron Rodgers lasts this time.
Should we go ahead and make a bet on that? Is there prop bets available on that, you think?
There has to be. There has to be. No doubt about it. So the schedule release will take place tomorrow officially. But one thing we do know, 2 things we know now, is that the opener on September 9th, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to host the Baltimore Ravens in the opener of the season. Now, another big game is always the Sunday night opener. That is the most competitive game of the week, the most alluring game of the week. So, Brooke, if you could pick the Sunday night opener for this season, what would it be?
That's tough. That is really tough. Now, would you go full Texas?
Yeah.
Would you go full Texas in this situation?
Okay, so
everything's bigger in Texas. So what about the Texans and Cowboys?
So the Texans are at Dallas this year. NBC would love it because Dallas always delivers big numbers.
CJ Stroud, you actually have a good team.
Yep, exciting team with a lot going on. I think Houston, if you had to bet, I would guess that that's going to be the one with the lowest odds. That Houston at Dallas will probably be the Sunday night opener.
You really think so?
Yeah. Everybody wants the Cowboys. ESPN wants the Cowboys. Fox wants the Cowboys.
Team.
Yeah. And they, despite the fact that they haven't been to an NFC championship game since 1995, St. Louis has been to an NFC championship game more recently than Dallas has. And we haven't had a team for 8 years. Despite that fact that exists, the Cowboys still draw viewers. And some of them are Cowboys fans, some of them are Cowboys haters. But with the excitement surrounding the Texans, I would think that would be the one.
I think so. So you mentioned, I think that's a good point about America's team. That always is going to draw viewers. But everything that the Texans are doing, I hate having to hype the Texans so much because obviously I'm a Titans fan. But you have to give credit when credit's due because I am very jealous of what they're able to accomplish with CJ Stroud this season. And they made a lot of really good additions this offseason. I'm interested to see what happens with Diggs and how that whole situation pans out for them.
Yeah, that was a great move. Getting Danielle Hunter for the pass rush is huge. They drafted well again. I'm intrigued by them. Now, here's another one, though. Would you rather see, just from a competitive standpoint, and I think it's going to be Houston at Dallas, but would you rather see the Bengals at Dallas for the Sunday night opener or Houston at Dallas? Because the Bengals also play at Dallas this year.
The Bengals, that's a good one.
Joe Burrow
personally,
coming back.
I think that it would be great to have CJ Stroud and the Texans versus the Cowboys, but it makes a lot of sense because Joe Burrow also is really good for TV ratings, and you're going to see him come back. What will that look like for the Bengals? So that could be another one.
The only other one that I see that would be a possibility, and you still have to take care of Fox. And that would be a CBS game, probably Houston at Dallas.
People
would be
are
a
saying
CBS
that
game.
Cowboys play the Browns.
But do you want that for your Sunday night opener?
People are saying that it is. Let's see. Dallas plays Cleveland on Sunday already.
Yeah.
They announced yesterday that's Brady's first broadcast game this week.
Okay, so that's a Fox game. So Dallas is playing. So maybe you have Detroit and Green Bay as your Sunday night opener. Which you could do it in either city, right? Because, and probably Detroit, just to show off Detroit. Matthew.
I was trying to put together like an ideal Bengals one, but just like every one I put together with the opposing team, there was a better option. Like KC in Baltimore is a better option than Bengals,
Cowboys.
Than Bengals Ravens, and it's also a better option than Chiefs Bengals, which I can't think of another. Like I want the Bengals to have really good games, but it's like your second fiddle because you've lost the games and you had a down year last year. So like I want the Bengals to be a bigger deal. I think the Bengals are more interesting than the Bills this year.
Well, maybe this would be a good one in terms of ratings. If you are going to have the Cowboys and the Packers are the other, the Cowboys and Packers are the ones that draw ratings. But how about the Steelers and the Bengals, with Russell Wilson and the Steelers taking on the Bengals with Joe Burrow's return? And the Steelers are another national brand.
Okay, I like, and I would especially because like you said, you got the Russell Wilson angle too that you can kind of push in the lead up to. I would actually really be down for Steelers Bengals. I also love division battles, opening up seasons. I always think that's fun.
Green Bay is playing the Eagles in Brazil on Friday already.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was to open the season. Right, I forgot about that.
The Brazil.
So you don't have Philly. Yeah, that's going to be the Brazil game.
You're not getting Tom Brady down in Brazil to call that a real disappointment.
And neither team is allowed to wear green, apparently.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, because it's going to cause a riot because of their soccer colors. The biggest rival of the team they're playing the stadium at, the biggest rival wears green. So the Eagles and the Packers are both going to be prohibited from wearing green because it'll cause a riot.
Wait,
I forgot about that one. So that's the opening Friday of the season.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
they're playing in the Corinthians arena, and I believe the Corinthians' their big rival is Palmeiras, who is green and white. Actually, the Eagles could do the funniest thing in the world. By warming up in the green and white jerseys. That would be hilarious. It would cause a riot. Oh man, South American football is wild.
So it feels like we basically already know the schedule for the week then. There's not much guessing here. So you have
Bengals and Steelers for Sunday night then.
I like that a lot better.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
314 doesn't like that the way we say Bengals. instead of Bengals.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Yeah, Bengals. I hate saying
Bengals are back in style, by the way.
I'm saying Bengals.
In the latest fashion.
Yeah. So they. You can say Bengals. That's fine. I'm good with
Bite
that.
me.
You can say whatever you want, Rocc.
Yes, you can.
This is your world, and you're living in it. There you go.
Coming
Thank
up,
you.
we've got Take It or Leave It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! Take It or Leave It next on 101 ESPN. I want you to know about Schnucks Rewards. When you go to Schnucks, you need to download the Schnucks Rewards app before you go, because not only can you save 2% on everything that you buy at Schnucks, but you can also get select coupons for things that you buy on a regular basis. It really is a difference maker for you. Last night at the Carricker household, we had some delicious swordfish. It was fantastic to make on the grill, and they have great produce. When you walk in the door at Schnucks, you see that colorful, delicious produce, and it's fantastic. And as you walk through the store, sometimes you have an inefficient experience, but when you put your list into the Schnucks Rewards app, whatever store you're going through, it's going to guide you to where the next thing on your list is. So if your next thing is in aisle 5, you stop by aisle 5 and pick it up, and then the next thing might be in aisle 7. So you don't have to go through aisle 6. You can just pick up what you need and have a nice, efficient trip through the Schnucks store. The Schnucks Rewards app is amazing. You'll love it. I use it all the time, and you should too. They're all about St. Louis. When you go shopping, go to Schnucks and download the Schnucks Rewards app first.
Time for Take It or Leave It.
Want to say something? Want to put it out there? If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your Take It or Leave It.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
Matthew Brooke and Randy. It is the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Danny Mac is out sick, and he hopes to rejoin us tomorrow. Time for Take It or Leave It. And Brooke, Matthew, as we watched last night's Cardinals game against the Angels, and the Angels did not have Mike Trout in the lineup, and I think it's fair to say they didn't have a star in the lineup. Take it or leave it. You thought about what it might look like to have Nolan Arenado wearing an Angels jersey.
Leave it. I don't want to see that. I could see him in Dodger blue, but really, you think you could see him playing for the Angels?
I could, yeah.
If you want to talk about pressure, there's not a lot of pressure over there that you would have to deal with.
And they are starless right now, and their owner does like to spend money. Now, they have Anthony Rendon, but he'll probably never play again, right? He's making a ton of money, and he's actually making Arenado money to not play for the Angels. But if I'm Artie Moreno, and if I read, the Cardinals might be interested in moving Arenado, I'm making the phone call.
It sounds like they're in rebuild mode, though. So do you think that Nolan Arenado would go over to a complete rebuild?
But their guy loves stars. Yeah. I don't know if he would. I don't know if Arenado would take it. But based on what's happening here, I mean, the records are virtually identical.
From the 3 and 4, who would you want on the Angels?
That's a big question. That is a big question. I don't know if Joe Adell is still enough of a prospect that you'd want to get him. And they've drafted some people. They've got some interesting prospects. But, yeah, I don't know if they have what you would really want if you're the Cardinals, which, interestingly, for everything that we've been through over the last decade, what the Cardinals need is an outfielder that can hit. Right? I mean, we've had Randall Grichuk. We've had Dexter
At first,
Fowler.
we thought we had plenty of outfielders going this season.
Yeah, we've had Piscotty. We've had Pham. We've had Rosarena. We've had Garcia. We've had the 3 guys that are playing now. It's Tyler O'Neill. It's unbelievable how many outfielders the Cardinals have had that have never been able to stick.
And pan out. Exactly. Take it or leave it. The Cardinals should wear the Navy caps for the rest of the season.
Take it. Yes. Well, on road games. Red at home, blue on the road. I'm fine with that. Of course,
yes. But maybe there's something a little lucky there.
There might be.
Maybe a little stitches. By the way, we didn't mention this earlier, but launch week for the City Connect uniforms for the Cardinals next week, I'm a little nervous. I don't know what
Monday.
to... Yeah.
Do you trust Nike at all?
No.
I don't either.
And I don't want it to be boring either. Like Cleveland, we looked at theirs and what they just launched. What is that? And I actually sent you guys the full backstory, supposedly, of the inspiration behind it. Everybody should go look up Cleveland City Connect uniforms. If you have to do a deep dive explanation into what exactly you're seeing with these uniforms, it kind of defeats the purpose because it should be something that is easily recognizable, I feel like.
And if you are sitting in section 241 at Progressive Field, you have and you haven't watched the video, you have no idea
the pillars in
their
Cleveland?
numbers are based on the pillars that guard the city. Come on.
Did you know that there was pillars that guarded the city in Cleveland?
No idea.
I had no idea that was a thing.
So that the Guardians.
And it looked like crushed velvet. And I know that there's more detail, but when you look at just the big picture of it, it looks from a distance like crushed velvet.
Yeah. I only really like 3 or 4 of the City Connects. I would say that this has been a big miss on the part of Major League Baseball from my point of view.
I want some more creativity. I love the Nationals with the cherry blossoms. That's probably one of my favorites.
But they're gray.
Yeah.
So I like Boston.
The Red Sox are the best moonshot that they landed.
Yep.
Easily.
I like San Francisco. The bright white with the orange.
San Fran was good.
Yeah. Not a fan of any monochrome. And by the way,
even the White Sox.
I think the Dodgers got rid of the monochrome. No, the South Side White Sox.
I thought the South Side White Sox actually looked kind of good.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was the only white monochrome that didn't look like a softball jersey.
I think the Dodgers actually went back to white pants for theirs, because they were monochrome. So, yeah, I'm not a fan. Yeah, and the Yankees aren't participating. Good for them.
Somebody said that they have leaked the Dodgers City Connect jerseys, and I'm looking at it right now. And they said it looks like a Pop-Tart.
I thought the Dodgers came out last year, right? They were blue on blue.
Speaking of Pop-Tarts, terrible movie.
Oh, really? Haven't seen it?
God.
Okay.
It's bad. I mean, it's fun. It's not a good movie, though. It's an enjoyable, but way too long.
Yeah. Dodgers were blue on blue. And it's it's Los Dodgers. So that's how they connect with their city.
Listen, uniforms
That's
matter.
how they connect with their city.
The Cardinals won yesterday because they were wearing navy hats against a team that was wearing red. That's why they won yesterday.
That's why they won.
You can't convince me otherwise.
That's fine.
Take it or leave it. Is it ever acceptable to cheer for your team to lose if it means preventing their biggest rival of winning the championship?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, their biggest rival?
Yep.
The example he's saying, by the way, Randy, I know you're a big Hotspur fan. Today, Tottenham plays Manchester City, and if the Spurs lose, it virtually confirms the Arsenal will not win the league.
I'm gonna take it then.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable approach to take in any walk of sports.
I feel like I've seen that Arsenal fans also don't like Rocc.
No, they hate him.
No, they don't really like him. They don't care
Shocking.
in L.A. I don't know what they think in Denver. They might even like him in Denver.
I think in Denver, they liked him a little bit. I know that I remember when we were there for the playoffs a few years ago, and there was complaints, and this was before they went on to win the Stanley Cup, but there was some complaints about how they hadn't made many upgrades to the facility for the players.
But he's got a nice condo
Yeah, he does.
up in the top of the ball center.
Do you think he just hangs out there and just watches? Like he has like a room full of security cameras and like listening devices.
So
got a cot in there.
So his company built Boone's Crossing, okay, where Walmart, Target, all that stuff out in Chesterfield Valley. And the guy that did landscaping for me did the landscaping out there and told me that Kroenke, and this is in the 90s, would literally sit in his car and watch this guy's team landscape. Kroenke had nothing better to do than to sit in his car and watch the landscapers work at Boone's Crossing.
That's so weird.
Isn't that
Why would he
weird?
do that?
I don't know.
Would he wear the glasses too?
Yep.
The glasses and just the giant mustache.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Do you think he's, and I bet he was super critical as well.
Probably. One time he had, I don't know how much it was. He owned Screaming Eagle Winery, and he was upset with a bottle of wine and had like 10,000 bottles of wine destroyed because he didn't like the way it tasted.
What? Somebody from the 636. I live in Denver and can confirm that people hate him. He got booed at Avs and Nuggets parade too. Dude is a loser.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It's amazing how consistent he is.
Consistently hated.
Take it or leave. If the Orioles call, you're absolutely trading Helsley, and you make sure Kierstead is the guy in return.
Sure. If you're confident that the Cardinals can develop a young player, go ahead and do it.
That's the issue that I'd be worried about. But at the same time, I'm guessing if you're just looking at the way that things are going, you're going to have to trade some pieces and you need something in return. Mm-hmm. But developing is a big question mark that I'd be worried about.
Man, you didn't sound too confident about that.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. Matt Carpenter bats lead off every single game.
Take it.
I'm going to take it. I mean, if it's working, it's working, I guess.
It is working.
It is. So,
Marp.
Why would you want to take him away from that situation?
He is a leader.
I got to make sure we get to this one. Take it or leave it. Pickle relish is an underrated condiment.
I'm not a pickle relish guy. Not that I hate it, but I don't think of it. I would say that would have, and I don't think it's great, but I guess if it is underrated if we don't even think of it, right? It's just out of hand. It's not even part of the realm of putting it on stuff.
Has pickle relish lost counter space since the late 90s?
I think it has.
When I went to restaurants or like the ball game, I feel like pickle relish had a more prominent like place to like get it than it was right. It was right with like the ketchup and the mustard. Now I feel like it's been like it's like a secondhand condiment now, where it's like put off to the side.
It's not a versatile condiment, so I think that's part of the thing here. With ketchup, you can use it for hamburgers, hot dogs, every different thing.
People in St. Louis use it for eggs.
Oh,
what?
Okay. Yeah, I know. I feel like a lot of people do that. I can't get behind that. I put hot sauce on my eggs. But
to your point, Brooke,
it's not versatile whatsoever.
Yeah, hot dog's the only thing, really?
Yeah, what else do you put relish on?
I think that's about it.
Yeah, another underrated one, I like to put this on everything, is banana peppers.
Oh, yeah. That's a good call. No, that's another one for me. I just don't think about it enough.
Oh, somebody said pickle relish is great on chili. I forgot that you could put it on chili as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call.
Oh, my God, that's genius. Because, I mean, honestly, the best usage of pickles, even more so than like a burger, the best usage of pickles is to cut into spice. Pickles on like a hot chicken sandwich are the best usage of a pickle I can ever, I think on the planet. And so the idea of using pickle relish in chili to like tone it down and I like what's going on
fish. Here. Okay, yeah, you could do that as well. That makes sense.
That's a combo you should only eat in the privacy of your own personal home.
Relish
Do not bring
on deviled eggs.
Don't bring that out in public.
Relish on what?
Deviled eggs.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
really?
No deviled eggs for me. No. Not
You
gonna
don't
happen.
like deviled eggs?
No. No, I just, they're too slimy.
What?
Yeah.
What deviled eggs are you eating? They're delicious.
They're, I don't like hard-boiled eggs.
I don't like this conversation anymore.
You don't like.
As soon as you
Whoa,
said
whoa, whoa.
your deviled eggs are too slimy for you,
They
it's
are.
like I got like a.
Yeah.
What kind of slimy deviled
It's
eggs
too
are you
smooth.
eating?
I'm not.
Oh, they're perfect for. I mean, especially for summertime barbecues coming up. That is essential.
amount of
That
people
and the
saying-
relish.
The amount of people saying pickle relish on tuna is just.
You've never had that before?
That's a good call.
Really?
It is.
Yeah, tuna
yeah,
salad.
you've had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be. It's a staple for tuna salad. That's a great point. Okay, good. So, but yeah, I will say that in general, I'm going to take that. That pickle relish is indeed underrated. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
We don't think about it enough.
I completely forgot about all the other things that you can use it for. I'm going to go buy some relish today.
Yeah.
Probably not because I'll forget about it. But either way, maybe I'll reintroduce it to my
Someone
condiments.
just said they put banana peppers in their spaghetti sauce, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Interesting.
Oh, that's not the right pepper.
That's not the right pepper.
Yeah.
It's not the right pepper.
Randy doesn't like cottage cheese. You don't like cottage cheese?
I'm fine with cottage cheese. No, I like cottage cheese a lot.
I guess Rocchio does it.
I've accepted that I'm eating mold with regular cheese. I can't get into. No, I can't do cottage cheese. Oh no, God.
It's high protein though. If you're
so
looking
disgusting.
for some high protein,
Yep.
cottage cheese
Low
is
cal.
great for that.
Yeah, so's yogurt, but I can get through that.
So, cottage cheese with sliced peaches or sliced pears, pineapple, delicious.
Oh yeah, my parents would make that all the time. The
Yeah.
canned peaches.
Yeah,
You could do canned peaches too.
absolutely. It's fantastic. So, no, I like it. I'm a cottage cheese
By the
guy.
way, this is just another example for all the people who like complain like during Ask Uncle Randy when we don't talk about sports. Just we had a very ripe Cardinals conversation earlier in the segment and got a lot of response. Nowhere near the response we got as soon as we mentioned pickle relish. I mean, just immediately, just
Here we go.
boom.
Okay, so I've got this place down in Scottsdale. Did you wind up going to? You probably didn't because you were staying at that place. Rehab Burger Therapy.
I did not. I did
Okay.
see it though, Randy, and I thought of you.
You
I
did?
literally,
Yeah.
while we were driving by, I said, "Oh, Randy's told me about this
Yeah.
place."
So I'm going to give you the menu, and I'll read the only one burger. I'm going to read you the description of.
Okay.
So there's the BYOB. There's the Porkster. There's the Hangover. There's the Chili Cheeseburger. There's the Bigger Beef Stro Burger. The Philly Cheeseburger. The Hatch Burger. The Tractor Pulled Pork. The PBJ and Bacon Burger. Or the Patty Melt. I will give you any of those. Did any of them catch your fancy? Or you can throw the Tony Montana in there too.
What is the first one again?
The first one that I told you about was the BYOB.
That's
Wanna
what
know?
is in that?
The BYOB. That's a just build your own. Okay, so build your own
that's
burger.
it. Okay, never mind.
I'll give you the Hangover Burger. Okay.
Okay. Does that have eggs and bacon on it?
Here's what they make. Reach a rehabilitated state with every bite. A sure cure for every tummy tainted from the night before with fried egg, bacon, Colby Jack cheese,
Yeah.
and Hatch green chili.
That one.
You like that? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I really enjoy, and this is my son Patrick's favorite, the PBJ and Bacon Burger. Freak your mouth out with a ridiculously delicious flavor combination: peanut butter, grape jelly, bacon, and sriracha sauce. Yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing with me is that I like to get a little creative. That might be a little too much for me.
And-
Too many different flavors happening.
Here's the one I get: the Backyard Barbecue Burger. Literally a creation from one of Chef Ken's backyard barbecue bonanzas, topped with onion rings, Colby Jack cheese, and spicy pineapple barbecue sauce.
Okay.
Worth it. I'm game.
I just like a good burger.
Me
Like
too.
I will if it's a good burger, you don't need all of the different things on it. That's how I feel about it.
So you and David are making burgers at home. Mm-hmm. I want you to go out to the Smokehouse Market where Annie Guns is and get their burger blend. It'll change your life forever. Get the burger blend and make your burgers with the burger blend from Smokehouse Market.
I love Smokehouse Market.
It's great.
Their bacon there is so good. And their shrimp. Have you had shrimp from there?
The shrimp is
well, everything. Okay, I'll just go ahead and say everything's great.
Oh, and the ribeye. All right, coming up next year on 101 ESPN, and thanks you very much for your text. That was a really productive Tioli. Should Jordan Walker's performance at AAA warrant his recall? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Want to change up your daily fantasy game? Here's the best way to do it. Underdog Fantasy's new Pick'em product right now active in Missouri. A Pick'em game right now you can play in Missouri. Pick'em Champions. You just download Underdog Fantasy. You can use their mobile app or you can go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Pick 2 to 5 players from at least 2 different teams. Select higher or lower on those players' stat projections. You're going to be entering a game alongside other underdogs. As long as you hit your entries, you're walking away with your winnings. You can roll with the Cardinals, obviously, with a late game today. Combine that with some NHL playoffs and some NBA playoffs. Personally, I'm not having a lot of luck with the Cardinals. They got the hits I expected them to get last night. They didn't get against the starter like I hoped. So I'm laying off the baseball. I'm going to go with basketball. You can fade or follow if you want to. We're going to go Miles Turner, higher than 0.5 double-doubles. So I think he's getting those 10 rebounds and 10 assists. That's going to be a scorcher. It's going to boost our winnings today. I'm going to combine that with Josh Hart, higher than 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He had a super bad game in Indiana last game. I think he's definitely going to bounce back in Madison Square Garden. So you can take those 2 entries and you can build on that. And the best way to build on that, again, is to go to Underdog. They're super easy to use mobile app or to UnderdogFantasy.com. It's super easy to play and even easier to get started. You just sign up with the promo code ROCC, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first Pick'em entry and a deposit offer. If you take the 2 I already gave you and then you add that special mystery pick, you're going to be looking at about 10x your original entry. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code ROCC to claim your new customer special of a mystery player pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Consider your play call, enter a game, or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Cardinals will be back home on Friday night to take on the Boston Red Sox. They have 2 more games left in Anaheim before making their way home for an off day on Thursday. Jordan Walker is hitting .326 now at AAA Memphis. He's got an 8-game hitting streak and a .783 OPS. But, Brooke, he only has 2 doubles and no homers in 48 plate appearances. So, with that being the case, he's hitting for average. A .783 OPS is respectable. Should the Cardinals bring him back? Has he shown you enough to bring him back with the 8-game hitting streak?
Well, how about the launch angle, Randy? That's the big question here.
No home runs, yeah.
That's the big question. Honestly, though, I feel like the situation of why they sent him down this season was a little bit different than last year. We heard exit velo, we heard launch angle, which offensively were still concerns for him this year, but it felt like it was more of a confidence issue that they wanted him to just be able to build himself back up down in the minors, and that was the biggest part of it. Now, say that you do call up Jordan Walker, who is the odd man out in this situation? Because do you send Michael Ciani back down the minors, who honestly has been doing pretty well, and I also like him defensively in your outfield as an option? Who is the odd man out in this situation?
I think it's Dylan Carlson, who hasn't played for the last couple of days. He doesn't have a hit yet since he's been back. So I would say that Dylan Carlson, who still has options, would be the logical choice to send down. He's not doing any good if he's sitting here as your 26th player and he never gets at-bats. So why not send him down and get him at-bats in a corner outfield spot down in Memphis?
He doesn't look great right now, and that is my big concern. So to answer your question, I think that you do bring back Jordan Walker. You should be bringing him back soon, but are they going to do that is the big question here. And what will the outfield look like? Because you're going to have Ciani out there. Okay, so you send Dylan Carlson down, which I agree with you, because he doesn't look great. I mean, even last night, I know you had already switched over to NBA, but later on in the game, I mean, a fly ball in center that was misjudged turns into an Angels run. Luckily, the Cardinals had that 7th inning, so you really didn't have to worry about it that much. But Dylan Carlson did not look great in that situation. He just looked a little bit off on his read. And that's the thing that concerns me, is he doesn't look 100% yet. So is it more of they rushed him back to the majors and he wasn't completely healthy, completely ready, or is he just overwhelmed with the situation, pressing too much? I don't know if there's any situation that it's actually good where I'd want one other the other.
Brooke, I think Dylan Carlson's entire existence with the Cardinals has been rushed. They put the pressure on him with Mo saying, "You get him out of my cold, dead hands." And then they bring him up earlier than he should have been brought up. Remember, 2020, he didn't even have a season because of COVID. So they bring him up early in 21 because they have injuries. And he winds up being third in the Rookie of the Year voting. But then he ran into the injuries. He's never been what they expected him to be. He's 0 for 17 right now. So I have no problem sending him down. And if Jordan Walker's here, like Carlson should be, Jordan Walker's got to play every day. If your team is going to be its best, and let's be honest, let's gear everything that we're doing towards 2025, then my outfield has to be Jordan Walker and right until you have Tommy Edman back or somebody else to play center field. Then Siani can be the guy. Siani's shown that he can hit, and then Newt Barr in left. That's what I would do starting this weekend. If I were in charge, I would have Walker here. Now, here's the scary and alarming part of this, is that the Cardinals' best hitting coaches might be at AAA. People go down there and perform, and then they come up here and they don't.
Well, there is a big difference, though, between minor league pitching and major league pitching.
There is, but you talk about people looking lost. Jordan Walker looked lost here. It wasn't just the pitching. And the same thing with Carlson. Not that Carlson was any great shakes when he was down there for his rehab, but at least he was getting hits. And I wonder if the philosophy or the communication, whatever it is, might be better among the AAA coaches than it is. And there's, granted, less pressure there, too. Because not only do you have the pressure here performing at the major leagues, but the team sucks. And everybody's trying to do more than they really can.
Well, and they need somebody from the outfield to be able to provide some power. And, of course, you were expecting Jordan Walker to bring that, and he wasn't able to do so. But there were so many people underperforming. And this is why earlier, of course, the win last night is great. But I mentioned this, and some people didn't like this, Randy, on the text line. But at the same time, it was not a pretty first 6 innings for the Cardinals. And this isn't something new this season for them, or even last year, where they have problems getting to the starting pitcher. Now, to me, that does kind of look where you look at the hitting coach of what does the preparation look like? Because you can't just hope that you are able to get to the bullpen and finally do what you did last night. You have to be able to get to the starting pitchers a little bit earlier in the game so that you can build up more of a lead where you're not just relying on one inning. We really haven't been able to see them do that, where it's multiple innings where they're able to really, scatter some runs here and there.
And I don't know Turner Ward, and I don't know their staff, and I don't know the approach that they're taking. But whatever it is, it's not working. We do know that. So I think it could not be a bad thing to. And I'm not saying change coaches.
2 hits in the first 6 innings.
But change the approach, like you're saying. Be better prepared for the game. Mark McGuire, who was a great hitting coach, always talked about pregame prep and about how the hay should be in the barn before you walk through the clubhouse doors in terms of thinking about hitting. Once you get to the ballpark, it should all be physical. And all the thinking should take place before. And I don't know if that's happening here. It does seem like these players have a lot to think about when they get to the game, when they get to the clubhouse, and then when they get to the plate. But at the end of the day, I think that if the Cardinals are going to ultimately succeed, Jordan Walker is going to have to become a star. And sure, he's not hitting home runs, but I think Jordan Walker's wasting his time at AAA.
So when we're talking about rushing Dylan Carlson, do you worry about if you call up Jordan Walker here soon, that you're also rushing Jordan Walker back too soon? How long should he be staying in the minors? What else would you need to see? Does he need to hit a certain amount of home runs? What do you think that they are looking for?
They're looking for launch angle. They've admitted that. And see, that's a problem because we saw what we saw down the stretch last year. We saw his second half last year. We know he can perform at the major league level. It's not a him thing. It's a them thing with him not performing. And they have to fix what they do because I know, I saw it with my own 2 eyes, that Jordan Walker can perform as a major leaguer. I saw it. And so, here, let me just...
And you can't just give up on players either. He's 22 now. I believe that he might have just turned 22 or he's about to turn 22.
I think he's about to turn 22.
And that's the thing that concerns me is that we talk about this all the time. You have to be able to get the most out of these young players. You have to. Another thing that concerns me as well is Matthew Liberatore, the handling of that. It feels eerily similar to things that we saw last year, and I want him to be put in the best position. Now, I can understand the Cardinals trying to see what they have available as him as a starter because, by the way, did you see Jordan Hicks last night?
Pretty good.
So you don't want to see another situation like that play out. But what concerns me is the handling of these younger players and making sure that you're putting them in the right situations where they can grow and not be held back in any way.
Right.
But also where you're making sure you're not just throwing them around in so many different situations where it's just too overwhelming for him. I understand that with the majors, there comes pressure, but you do have to worry about when a player has so many mixed messages, what that does to them and their confidence.
And it's clearly a problem. By the way, Brooke, last year, September, Jordan Walker, 113 plate appearances. It's 304 with an 853 OPS, 5 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs. He had 10 extra base hits in September and 12 RBIs. So, and by the way, in the second half of the season, that's a small sample size. Second half of the season, 236 plate appearances, 271 with a 775 OPS, 8 homers, 11 doubles, and 2 triples. I know that he can perform at the major league level. And again, it's not a him thing, it's a them thing. And I would bring him up for the weekend series against Boston. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. It is 8:17. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Coming up, the Hawks shockingly won the top pick in the NBA draft on Sunday. If LeBron James would agree to sign there, should they use the first pick in the draft on Bronny? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Coverage of 101 ESPN is presented by Andre.
Hey guys, St. Louis City SC is awesome. It's a great experience, and you can enhance the experience of St. Louis City SC even more with your exclusive City SC debit card from Together Credit Union. Together Credit Union is the only place to find this official fan debit card, and it comes with special perks like a free lifetime My City Plus membership, in-stadium discounts on food and beverages and merchandise, and this is most exciting, you don't have to wait. You get express entry into City SC matches with the Together Credit Union CitySC debit card. And as a special bonus, Together Credit Union is going to send you a commemorative print of City Park, the home of St. Louis City SC, while supplies last. How do you get the card? Easy. Open any personal checking account online at togethercu.org or stop by any of Together Credit Union's 14 local branches and choose the City SC debit card at account opening. There's no cost for the City SC debit card, so don't wait. Sign up today and show your pride for St. Louis City SC. Membership eligibility required. Federally insured by NCUA. The Atlanta Hawks did not make the playoffs. They had only a 3% chance to win the first pick in the NBA draft. And they got it. They got the first pick in the NBA draft. So, Brooke, work with me here. LeBron James is a free agent. His son, Bronny, is eligible for the NBA draft and apparently is staying in the NBA draft. If you are the Atlanta Hawks, do you go to Clutch Sports and say, look, we'll use the number 1 pick in the draft on Bronny if your guy will sign with us when free agent starts? Would you do that if you're the Hawks? Would you take 3 years of LeBron James but have to use the first pick in the draft on somebody who will probably never play and certainly play well for you?
Randy, I know you want me to work with you here. I hear you, but absolutely no way. Absolutely. What was Bronny's numbers at USC?
Bad. They were bad. He didn't even start. He wasn't a starter.
Also, yesterday during the NBA Combine, Bronny James listed at 6'4" on USC's roster, measured in just over 6'1".
Okay.
No, are you serious?
That's fine.
That's a difference. And also,
without shoes.
But here's the thing. There's also a guy named Alex Sarr, a 7-footer that is available, and I think that he's going to be the one that you have to take if you're the Hawks. That is the simple answer. Now, a situation that I can see happening here is that you don't have to take Bronny James in the first round. I don't think he's going to be a first rounder. Maybe you get him in the second round or even later on for the Lakers, and there's your situation solved. LeBron's happy. He gets his son playing with him. But no, there is absolutely no way that the Hawks should take Bronny James to try to get LeBron James to come over. That would be absolutely silly to do. So you have to convince me of this, Brady, because I'm not buying it whatsoever.
Okay, so you've got a really good backcourt in Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, okay? You've got Bogdanovich, who's a nice player. You've got Clint Capella at center. Add LeBron to that mix, who's still one of the 5 best players in the league, even at the age of 39. If you add LeBron to that mix, you're a finals contender right off the bat. You don't even have to play Bronny James. Now, you probably do a little bit, but you've got Quinn Snyder there as their coach. They're trying. Their ownership wants to win. I'm intrigued by the idea. They are one LeBron James away from being able to beat Boston and be the representatives for the East in the NBA Finals next year.
But you have to think about the future of this team as well. How much longer is LeBron going to play?
But they've never won in Atlanta. They're in desperation mode. They've never won a championship. Have they? I don't even know if they've been to a finals as the Atlanta Hawks. And they moved there in '68. So from St. Louis. I don't think they've been to the finals. So for me, I would take that chance. I would, in a very limited NBA draft for 2024, I would give up the quality of Bronny James to take the quality of an older LeBron James.
0 Eastern Conference titles.
There you go. 68, 78, 88, 98, 08, 18. That's 56 years. So you go for it.
I just still can't buy into it. Maybe it's just me. I just can't figure out why exactly you want to do that. And here's another thing, just a side note. The amount of pressure that LeBron has put on Bronny James and this whole situation, now everybody knows the whole reason that you're going to any certain team, whether it's the Lakers, whether it's the Hawks, if they do that situation that you're putting out there, it's because your dad wants to play with you.
Cool. He's a mascot. Okay, so let his dad play with him.
You said Bronny's a mascot?
Oh, yeah, he stands on the end of the bench waving a towel. That's going to be his job, ultimately.
This is insane. I do want to highlight this. The Atlanta Hawks have won their division 3 times since 1990.
There you go. So why not get one of the 5 best players who's very durable? He makes everybody around him better. And Matthew, correct me if I'm wrong, I look at this depth chart, and I think he's a magnificent fit for the Hawks. LeBron is.
Oh yeah, LeBron. Yeah, LeBron. I mean, LeBron fits anywhere. You want an oversized point guard. You want a small forward. You want a 4-man.
Yeah,
he
would be there 3, and he'd be
perfect.
You put him with Young and Murray.
Yeah, that'd work really well.
And I don't know if Clint Capella can play anymore, but at one time,
Clint Capella can still play.
Yeah, so I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the Hawks. And by the way, if you haven't been to an Atlanta Hawks game, their championship banner, it says St. Louis Hawks. In whatever the name of their building is. I don't remember.
At least they don't try to hide it.
No, it's St. Louis Hawks. Pretty cool.
At least they acknowledge it.
Okay.
Unlike some others.
So you would not do it?
I would absolutely not do it. I just don't think, I get it. LeBron also brings a lot of revenue. I understand that aspect of it because we talked about it with Shohei Ohtani. We're talking about big players, people that everyone knows. So I understand that LeBron brings that aspect of it. I just think that there's no way you should do that. And I think there's a situation here where the Lakers don't really have to worry and they could still get Bronny James later on in the draft.
But not if Atlanta takes him with the first pick. That's why
think he's going to do that.
That's why you have to
do that.
That's why you have to call Clutch Sports. You have to call Rich Paul and say, look, if your guy comes to us, we'll take his son. But you have to get that promise from Rich Paul. And Bronny, I mean, LeBron is, if Bronny's gone to Atlanta, there's no way LeBron's just going to let him flounder there. Because then what you say is, okay, if LeBron doesn't come, Bronny's going to be playing where he would have played.
So that is another part of this, though. I agree with you. They have to be a package deal.
Yeah, totally.
Whatever happens, they have to be a package deal because LeBron, he also specifically said he wants to play with, not against. He just wants his son to get to the league, and maybe they play against each other. He said with
just
his
like
son.
the Griffies, yeah. So it'll be fun. And Quinn Snyder, we know how he develops young players.
It's the difference
We've
between
seen
the
it here.
Griffies and
he can get Bronny going. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. That's Matthew. Coming up, we're already at the fight. This show is flying by. The fight is coming your way. Do we need a fighter today? I forgot.
Of course we
yes,
do,
we need a
Randy.
fighter.
Okay. You can text in your name and the word fight to 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. And maybe Matthew will pick you to fight me next here on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you're in the market for a fence, maybe you have a new pet in the household and you want to keep that pet confined in the backyard, there's only one company in St. Louis to call. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Their number is 800-300-4054, 800-300-4054, or find them on the web at chesterfieldfence.com. And they have their own employees that are going to come out and install your fence, whether it's a vinyl or a cedar fence, and they're going to do fantastic work. You can have them out and they'll take all the measurements you need. They've got a great array of fences. I got my fence from Chesterfield Fence and Deck, and they're going to do fantastic work. And if you're driving through your neighborhood and somebody has a new fence up and it has a Chesterfield Fence sign, you know that those people got a great fence installed by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. And they have beautiful cedar fences. They have low maintenance vinyl fences. That's what I have, a vinyl privacy fence, which is a lifetime product in a variety of colors. But they also do aluminum and steel and chain link if that's what you want as well. They do decks and sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas too. See what they do at chesterfieldfence.com and give them a call. Have them out, 800-300-4054. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign. You have the very best.
This is Rocc with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals with a shocking 10-5 win over the Angels yesterday. It's another late game today as they will go for their second win in the row against the Angels, and it'll be Sonny Gray on the mound for the Cardinals. They'll be going up against a lefty for the Angels, Reed Detmers. Detmers on the season 3-4 with just under a 5 ERA on the season so far. And last night in the NHL Playoffs, the Hurricanes slapped the Rangers 4-1. They are now down just 3-2 in that series to the New York squad, and the Stars shocked the Avalanche 5-1. They now lead that series 3-1. That is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Stand heating and air conditioning dealer.
In the red corner, Average Joe Listener. And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive. Please welcome Randy Carricker.
Welcome back to the opening drive. Brooke, Randy, and Matthew Rocchio here. Danny Mac is feeling a little bit under the weather today, so he's taking the day off. Hopefully he will be feeling better soon. And it is time for the fight, and our fighter today is Chris. Chris, how are you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing this morning?
Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. Hopefully Danny Mac will be feeling better soon, but he would ask you, is this your first time facing Randy in the fight?
First time, tried many times, but this is definitely the first time.
Ooh, nervous? Scared?
I just a little. It's beats, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you never know. Are you ready for question number 1, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, excuse me. The NFL career record for interception touchdowns is 12, held by whom? Is it Rod Woodson, Asante Samuel, or Charles Woodson?
We'll go. What was the first answer again?
Rod Woodson.
I'll go with that one.
On this day in 1988, Jose Oquendo became the first non-pitcher to finish a game with a decision, losing in extra innings to this NL team. Was it the Dodgers, the Cubs, or the Braves?
We'll go the Dodgers.
Question 3, Chris. In the divisional era, seven individuals have won a World Series as both a player and manager, but only 2 have done it with the same franchise. Joe Girardi with the Yankees and this AL player manager. Was it Davey Johnson, Mike Scioscia, or Alex Cora?
I'll go Alex Cora.
And who tallied the 1 RBI in the 2011 NLDS Game 5 battle between Roy Halladay and Chris Carpenter? Was that David Freese, Skip Schumacher, or Rafael Furcal?
We'll go Furcal.
All right, we'll double-check our score, and we will bring in Randy Carricker.
Chris, how are you feeling?
It's a lot easier when you're not on.
Right? It always is a lot easier. There's something about the pressure of it. And also knowing that Randy Carricker is sprinting into the room, there's pressure with that as well. He has his Propel today and his Grapes. What'd you say?
This is a hard fight today.
No, this was really
I actually had to move 2 questions out of this fight and replace them with 2 other questions because the 4 I had were just I was like, oh God, these are all 4 should be like the last question on fights themselves. They were all way too hard, so I had to move things around a little bit. So you got an easier version of a very tough fight.
Randy, say hi to Chris.
Chris, good morning. How you doing?
Great. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. We appreciate it.
First-time fighter.
Oh, well, it's great to have you with us. Thank you very much for listening every day.
Thank you.
Ready for question number 1, Randy?
Let's do it.
The NFL career record for interception touchdowns is 12, held by whom?
I got to go with Deion Sanders. I'm going to go with Deion.
On this day in 1988, Jose Oquendo became the first non-pitcher to finish with a decision, losing in extra innings to this National League squad.
I believe it might have been the Atlanta Braves with Rick Mailer tossing 9 relief innings for Atlanta.
Off the top of your head, do you know by any chance who hit the home run off Oquendo?
Oh, I would have to think about it for a while.
Let it percolate for the rest of the fight.
Yeah.
Percolate. I love that word.
Yeah.
It's time for the percolate.
1988. Yeah, maybe I don't remember.
All right.
You ready for question 3?
I'm ready.
Just making sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In the divisional era, 7 individuals have won a World Series as both a player and a manager, but only 2 have done it with the same franchise. Joe Girardi with the Yankees and this AL player manager.
Player and a manager that won a World Series both, huh? With the same franchise. Okay. Let's work on this for a minute, shall we?
Shall.
It was not... I don't think it was Oakland. I don't think Alvin Dark played for the A's. I don't think TLR. Maybe he did play for the A's. Who was the first American League one that you mentioned?
Joe Girardi.
Joe Girardi. Okay, with the Jonkeys. Okay, so
yes, the Jonkeys.
Well, it wasn't Houston. It wasn't Texas. A's, it wasn't the Angels, clearly wasn't the Mariners. I don't think Ned Yost played for the Royals with Cheese. Ozzie Guillen, there you go. Ozzie Guillen played the shortstop for the White Sox, and he was their manager when they won the World Series in 2005.
All right, Randy, who tallied the 1 RBI in the 2011 NLDS Game 5 battle between Roy Halladay and Chris Carpenter?
The 1 RBI. So for Cal led off with a triple, and I think Skip Schumacher brought him home. I'll go with Skip Schumacher.
All right. A very interesting fight today, as we are going to a tiebreaker with Chris in his first ever fight. Chris, you haven't done this before, so I'll give you the rules. We're going to read off the question. We're going to give Randy Carricker a moment to write down his answer. He's then going to show me and Brooke the answer. And once he has shown us, we'll get your answer audibly. Whichever one of you is closest to the pin is going to be walking away as the winner of this fight. Do you understand those rules, Chris?
Yes.
All right, Randy, do you understand those rules?
I understand the rules, yes.
You're usually pretty good with the rules.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready? You got your notepad? All right, sweet. All right, here we go.
I like when the Lindenwood paper comes out.
Kind of worried about this one, honestly. I'm worried this is one of the ones Randy's got locked in his brain. I hope not. All right, because it's a Cardinals question. All right, here we go. Good. You didn't have Hank Aaron locked in your brain, so I don't, or Stan Musial's numbers in your brain, so maybe you don't have this one. Yeah. Bob Gibson is the only Cardinals pitcher to top 3,000 strikeouts. I'm going to need the exact number of strikeouts he threw. Bob Gibson is the only Cardinals pitcher to top 3,000 strikeouts. How many did he finish his career with? Let me write that down, Randy. Sorry, it's a few numbers. Sorry, I just need to make sure I get it down. All right. I have Randy Carricker's guess. Chris, what is your guess, sir?
3,452.
3,452. Randy Carricker, what is your guess, sir?
I said 3,154, sir. 3,154.
All right. We have a winner. Calculator has been pulled out. The math has been done. And we have a winner in today's fight. Does Chris walk away? Another first-time player. But we need our first-time winner here in a while. Or does Randy Carricker just keep rolling on with another win this week? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis. With the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
I'm sorry, Chris. Randy Carricker took you down. Bob Gibson threw 3,117 strikeouts. So Randy Carricker was only off by about 34. So he got you today, Chris. But that was a well-done fight today. Good job.
Thank you. Can I give a shout out real quick?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Shout out to my son, Nick. He loves the Cardinals and Blues. I'm taking them Sunday. So let's go.
Nice.
Awesome.
Amen to that. It's been a rough couple years for Nick, so let's see if we can get him some wins today.
Yeah.
Let's go through the questions for the fight, and you guys actually got you guys both got 2 correct. And you got the opposite ones correct, and the opposite one's wrong. So the NFL career record for interception touchdowns is 12, held by Rod Woodson. Deion Sanders finished with just 9 in his career. Charles Woodson and Darren Sharper and Aqib Talib are the 4 players with double digits. Sharper and Woodson with 11, Aqib Talib with 10, and then Aeneas Williams is there with. Deion Sanders, is there with our good friend Aeneas Williams with 9 in his career. On this day in 1988, Jose Oquendo became the first non-pitcher to finish with a decision, losing extra innings to the Braves after he got absolutely walloped by one Ken Griffey Sr. Took 1 yard on Jose Oquendo in extra innings to seal that Braves victory. In the divisional era, 7 individuals have won a World Series as both a player and a manager, but only 2 have done it with the same franchise. Ozzie Guillen did not win a World Series as a player with the White Sox.
Okay, right, yeah.
It's actually Alex Cora who did it with the Boston Red Sox as both a player and a manager. Joe Girardi, the other one, of course, with the Yankees. And it was Skip Schumacher who hit in Rafael Furcal in the first inning with a line drive double against Holiday. That was the 1 run for the Cardinals win that day. Skip Schumacher, the correct answer there. So a 2-2 tie, and then the tiebreaker, a win for Randy Carricker. Chris, thank you so much again for joining the fight and joining the show.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
That was a good one.
That was a great fight.
That was terrific.
Those are 100% answers on Deion Sanders and Ozzie Guillen because they weren't the options where I was like, oh, dear sweet Jesus Christ.
I was thinking the wrong way about it, and I came to Ozzie Guillen, and I forgot that I was thinking played with rather than won the World Series with. So
played with. I kind of would be fascinated to find out how many guys played and managed a World Series because it's only 7. It's literally only Girardi and them. I wonder how much bigger the list gets if it's just played or managed a World Series, didn't win one in either way.
Pretty substantial.
I imagine it probably
think.
jumps to like 15.
Yeah. We've had a lot to talk about this morning and gotten a lot of response from you. Brooke, I'm going to open it up to you. What do you want to talk about next here on the opening drive?
Ooh, I don't know. Which one should we go with? Do 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 do. What were you looking at?
I was looking at the rundown because I was really confused for a second.
We do have a segment in there, but you're saying which one of the topics that we want to revisit?
I think we should revisit because we've had so much response to the Cardinals not asking for public funds, and then we talked about the development. And how much of a concern is the Cardinals' development
What
right
if we
now?
keep it a surprise? People could text in which one that they would rather chat about.
We can do both.
Sadie Hawkins.
Oh, yeah, good idea. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here, and this year we decided it was time to make a major upgrade to our home by updating our bathroom. We have this house in U City. It's over 100 years old, and we love it because it has that old charm, but we never exactly loved our main bathroom. So we decided it was time to make a big change, and we reached out to one of our great sponsors here of 101 ESPN. And that is EMB Granite. EMB Granite's team visited our house for a free consultation, and they came up with a vision of how to really transform our bathroom. My favorite part of working with EMB Granite was stopping by their amazing showroom to explore their large selection of in-stock custom countertops, all of their different cabinet options. It was so much fun picking up the new colors for our bathroom. Jen was the one who has been working with us, and she has been fantastic. And she came up with so many great ideas for us that fit within our budget. Their friendly and experienced team has been turning visions into realities for over 20 years there at EMB Granite. So go and schedule your free consultation by calling 314-645-9300 or go online at embgranite.com or stop by their showroom today and make sure you mention that I sent you.
Earlier today, we played a cut from Bill DeWitt III, the Cardinals president, who did a podcast with Martin Kilcoyne, and he referenced a Riverfront Times article in which it said that the Cardinals were asking for money for stadium improvements and asking for a certain amount. And he said, that's a lie. He said, we don't even know what we want yet. We don't know what we need to do. We don't know what we're going to do. And Brooke and I both made the point that, first of all, the Cardinals, it's highly unlikely that they're going to get public funds for stadium improvements. But if there was an entity that deserved to get something, it might be a group of people, and the Cardinals are a part of a group that has really done everything they can to enhance downtown St. Louis. The Cardinals built the stadium. They built Ballpark Village. They continue to do things to enhance the downtown region. The Enterprise rental car people, the Taylor family, built City Park. They've contributed to schools. They've contributed to the renovation of the arts grounds. They've done a magnificent job downtown. And lodging hospitality management with Union Station and all the hotels that they have worked on and built. To me, those are the big three. And there might be others. Text in if you're one of them that have done that much to enhance downtown St. Louis. And we got a lot of blowback from people that I guess aren't appreciative of the new things that have been built in downtown St. Louis.
I was very surprised by that, and maybe somebody can help walk me through this, but we got a couple of texts that said Ballpark Village actually hurt other businesses. Now, I understand of maybe if you're saying like, okay, well, maybe you have more people going there than going to some of the other things, but they brought up Shannon's as one of the examples as to that not working out. But any new project that is going to downtown is a good thing in my eyes. More businesses means more revenue for the city, which is more taxes come in the city that you're able to use to help the city. There's a lot of benefits to that. And here's the thing is that I know that we got some other texts where people said, well, I don't go downtown, so, that doesn't really affect me. It does affect you. There's a ripple effect to all of this. You need a healthy downtown, one, to continue to attract Fortune 500 companies, but you want that revenue. That's where your teams are. You should care a lot about that. To your point, Randy, these teams teams do. I know that this is very frustrating with what we're seeing on the field currently with the Cardinals, but at the same time, the Cardinals do a lot for the community, and CitySC does a lot for the community. They're investing in downtown. You should want to support that, and you should want it to survive. You want downtown to do well so that you continue to get more visitors, so people do go downtown, so that there is a ripple effect, because that stuff does affect the county as well. It spills over because people need places to stay. They're going to restaurants. There's many benefits to actually having a healthy downtown, that it works out for not just the city, but the county as well.
Okay, question for the room. General, this is not specific, but in general, you're going to go out to dinner on a Friday or Saturday night. In general, you're going to go to Clayton or downtown St. Louis?
In general, I typically, honestly, would go in Clayton or somewhere in the county.
More, Matthew, you agree with that?
One more time.
Clayton or downtown St. Louis if you're going to go out to dinner?
Ah, God, it's Clayton, yeah, of course.
The other question, do you know more people that work in Clayton or in downtown St. Louis?
Clayton.
Yeah.
Our real downtown is Clayton. The only thing downtown is the sports teams at the moment. And that's the issue that we have. And that's what the folks at the Cardinals are trying to quell by building Ballpark Village, bringing Scott Credit Union and keeping Bally Sports down there, and bringing businesses into their office tower, the first Class A office space built in St. Louis in 30 years since the Gateway, not the Gateway Tower, but Metropolitan Square building was built in 88. You had to go 98, 08, 18 for the Class A office space at Ballpark Village to open. Obviously, the restaurants people like. And I feel bad for those restaurants that were negatively affected by other restaurants being built at Ballpark Village. But this is a competition. And unfortunately, you have to market and you have to provide a top shelf atmosphere and product if you're going to be able to compete at the highest level.
And just like there's a lot of issues with downtown, obviously, and like we got one text in. I don't think BPV is what killed Washington Avenue. I think it's.
I agree with that.
I think downtown.
No,
I think downtown falling apart is what killed Washington Avenue. But then you look at Cortex, you look at the Armory, you look at the things that are happening more in the Midtown area. Heck, somebody even texted in and said we got to give the Taylor family credit for everything they put in for the arch expansion all the way down towards the riverfront. Mm-hmm. And now you have that. You have that new Target and those new luxury condos that are opening up right there, kind of in the Midtown area as well. Like building things, change isn't bad, and I think it's weird that we pick and choose when to have moments where we're like, yeah, it's America, it's capitalism, baby, and that's BPV beat out some other bars. That's the way it goes. It's not a bad thing.
And you can't forget about certain areas as well. You can't just be like, okay, well, you go deal with that. That is where your teams are at.
Yeah,
you have
I
to
don't go there, so I'm not worried about it. Right? A rising tide lifts all boats.
I hate when people say that.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I understand safety is a concern. That is a very valid thing there, but you have to be able to also welcome change. There's change that comes with that. And I know that I'm an outsider coming in, but still.
But that gives you credibility because you've experienced
a
metamorphosis.
Here, and I live here, and I'm choosing to live here.
Right.
And I love St. Louis. I know the potential that the city has. I say this all the time. St. Louis has so much potential when it comes to the downtown and really growing around it, because this is a sports town. I mean, even look at UFC this past weekend. The amount of people showing up to that. We know how much people will show up to events. If you have a downtown that's supporting where your teams are and it's continuing to grow and grow in the right direction, there's so many benefits, and it's a ripple effect that helps every single person, not just in the city, but in the county, and that's the biggest part of all this.
And we are sports people, so we have a biased point of view. But I can tell you this, if I were somebody in charge of that city, if I am the mayor, if I am the deputy mayor, if I am a board of aldermen representative, I'm going to go to the sports teams and say, what does our downtown need to be better? I'm going to Bill DeWitt III. I'm going to Chris Zimmerman. I'm going to everybody involved with the St. Louis City SC. I'm going to the Battlehawks. I'm going to say, okay, you've been around. You see other markets. You study other markets. You're looking at or have built facilities. What do we need to be able to compete with or get to the level of other markets that your team is playing in? I would ask those questions of the sports teams, and I think that would be a good way to start. And then the people that have been loyal to downtown St. Louis. There's a big U.S. bank down there. Commerce, I think, still has a presence in downtown St. Louis. Fleischman Hillard is still down there. I would go to the companies that have been loyal to downtown St. Louis and stayed there and say, okay, what do you need to make downtown St. Louis better? Because, and sports is the fulcrum. Sports is going to be where it's going to start. And that's why we're talking about this, because if the Cardinals do ask for money, they're going to say no, but then the Cardinals need to go to the Cardinals and say, okay, we're going to help you out, but what would make this city better for you? And find out from the Blues, find out from CitySC, find out what the city can do better for them.
Because not all of those owners are Stan Kroenke, and I think that they have proved that they are not, that they do care about building here in St. Louis and staying here in St. Louis. The Cardinals, I know that there's a lot of people frustrated with the Cardinals, and rightfully so. I 100% understand that. But they're not going to take this team and move them to another state. That would never happen.
No. This text, basically what has to happen is the city needs to give huge tax cuts for business to move downtown from other cities. The rest will come. Restaurants, apartments, etc. Bring in new young people. The people in the city don't want to give big business those tax cuts, though, for political reasons. I don't disagree with that one bit at all. And I think another thing that hurts the city, although apparently it's important for them, is that 1% earnings tax. Brooke, you had to pay that when you were working in the city.
Yes.
I had to pay that when I was working in the city. And it is... When, for example, when channels 2 and 4 left the city to come to the county, it saved their employees a lot of money by getting rid of that 1% earnings tax. So everybody that leaves the city and goes to the county from a business perspective is saving because that 1% earnings tax is hitting earners in the city.
It's way more expensive, too, to own a business in the city rather than the county. The taxes are different, to your point. Another text, I was trying to find it, but they made a point of when it came to the Rams settlement money, why not invest that into the Blues, into the Cardinals, everything. I agree with that, but the three entities that you have to split this amongst, it's not $700 million that is exactly just right there for the taking and it's all going to one thing. That's split amongst three different groups of people, the city, county, and then who is the third one again?
The RSA, Regional Sports Authority.
So they all can do whatever they want with it. And right now the money isn't being used for anything specifically.
We get a text from the 618. Don't kid yourself. It's crime, C-R-I-M-E, in capital letters. That's a huge factor. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the factor when AT&T left, or when Boatman's Bank left, or when... when and I know it was part of what happened with St. Louis Center. There used to be a big mall, big shopping mall in downtown St. Louis, which would not be around now. I'll grant you that. But there were a lot of companies and a lot of entities that suffered in downtown St. Louis before the crime issue was what it is now. So crime is a big part of it now.
And we do have a lot of people texting that in. You have to start with the base of the issue, crime, end of story. So how do you address the crime in this situation?
Well, fortunately, it's getting better, and they have a new prosecutor who's doing a good job in the city. I'm convinced, Brooke, that a lot of the crime that was taking place was people that were committing crime after crime after crime after crime, and it was never being prosecuted by Kim Gardner. And now I think those people are finding themselves in jail, and that's why the numbers show it. The crime in downtown St. Louis and in the city actually is going down. Now, it's incremental. It's not happening overnight. It's not gone, but the crime problem is at least being addressed.
Yes, and that's something that you have to do, because I do understand, like, you do worry about people coming and going downtown. That's the number one thing that I hear over and over again. It's not that people don't want to support the Cardinals, Blues, or CitySC, anything like that. It's because they're worried about the crime issue downtown. And
I want to get to this one from the 618 because we have a tendency to misremember things. Don't forget the DeWitts threatened to move the team to Metro East before they got public funding for the new stadium. The Cardinals never got new public funding for a new stadium. They built that stadium on their own dime. The Cardinals built that stadium. It's not a publicly funded. It's owned by the Cardinals, and they make the improvements every single year to the stadium on their dime. So I just want to make sure that, and I know that you have that memory that maybe the Cardinals, by the way, there was talk of them building a stadium in Dupo, Illinois. But the fact of the matter is the Cardinals spent, I believe, $390 million to build Busch Stadium. I can get that for you right now if you'd like. But it's far from a publicly funded stadium. There was some infrastructure. For Busch Stadium, a long-term loan from St. Louis County, and then $200.5 million of the Cardinals. So that's the stadium for the Cardinals. So there you go. So now you know via radio.
Maybe we solved something, maybe we didn't here, Randy. But I think the overall premise of this is that you just want to see downtown St. Louis thrive.
Yep.
Because you have teams that are investing in the area.
And there's a lot of downtowns that are suffering. And I just want to compete. I think our region, like you said, I think our region has a ton of potential that just isn't being realized for various reasons. And I think a lot of it is antiquated or backward thinking. I think we need to think forward and to ask ourselves, okay, why not us? I think and we need to think big.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is that for you especially, you've seen St. Louis through so many different changes over the years. You were showing me yesterday videos of the Rams and just seeing all of the fans that were there for the games, which is kind of ironic considering that Kroenke tried to paint a picture that was not actually happening here when it was really what he was doing behind the scenes that was leading to a lot of that. But fans were still showing up to the games. Either way, he was just trying to portray this really negative picture of St. Louis, and that's just not the case. You have a passionate group of fans here for any sort of sports that will show up for anything, any event like that that's sports related, or even concerts and different things like that. There's always a great showing for events here in St. Louis, and especially for you, I'm sure you just want to see it continue to move in the right direction.
I'd love to see it get back to what we had in the 80s. It was
what was it like in the 80s? Can you just describe that?
Like I mentioned, we had the big mall. You had no qualms about walking to the ballpark. I worked at the same building you worked at, the Gateway Tower building, and walking to the ballpark was a breeze, and it was fun, and it did feel safe. And then in the mid-'90s, they built the Dome, but even parking at Gateway Tower to walk to a football Cardinal game, it was awesome. And it was the center. It was the hub because everybody worked downtown. All the businesses were down there. And so there would be a lot of traffic and people walking the streets on a weekday because people were working down there. And it's like a ghost town now when you're downtown during the day, isn't it?
Oh, believe me. When I used to work downtown, because as you mentioned, KMOV has since moved, but towards the end there, before the move happened and before I left to come over here, I mean, there was not much going on. And then they started putting the barriers out there because there was people street racing and different things like that. It was definitely different leaving at night sometimes.
Yeah. Scary.
Yeah.
Yep. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, we've got the Rush Hour Reset. Can I give you the numbers? Let me spend 30 seconds on this. So you got, for the Busch Stadium, a $45 million long-term loan from St. Louis County, $200.5 million in bonds to be paid off by the ball club. Anheuser-Busch gave the naming rights deal through 2025, which they've just extended recently. And then another $90.1 million in cash from the Cardinals, in addition to those $200.5 million in bonds that they are paying over a 22-year period. So the Cardinals financed this stadium. It was not publicly funded. All right, coming up next, the Rush Hour Reset on 101 ESPN.
It's time for a DraftKings at Casino Queen Redbird report on 101 ESPN.
Brooke Grimsley here for your Redbird report. Thanks to an 8-run seventh inning, the Cardinals were able to win the series opener against the Angels last night, beating them 10-5. The Cardinals were down 4-0 through 6, but then the bats came alive in the seventh inning. In that inning alone, 8 runs, 7 hits, 14 hitters came to the plate. It was highlighted by a Nolan Arenado home run, a 2-run single by Matt Carpenter, and a 3-run single by Ivan Herrera. On the the mound, Matthew Liberatore giving up 4 earned runs off of 5 hits and 3 1/3 while walking 2 and striking out 1. Sonny Gray will get the start for the Cardinals tonight. First pitch is at 8:38.
The Redbird Report is presented by DraftKings at Casino Queen. Play, stay, dine at DraftKings at Casino Queen.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here, and I want to tell you why I love the Missouri Athletic Club. It's because they're helping me stick to my big 2 goals this year. One of them was getting into better shape. I already felt like I was in pretty good shape, but I wanted to tone up a lot more heading into my wedding here in June. And I've been working out with Christine twice a week over at the West location. I'm actually going to see her today, and I love working out with her. I've noticed huge results, and I love the difference that I'm seeing with myself, and I feel stronger. Also, the second goal was to get back into the sport that I've played my entire life, and that is tennis. And I've been hitting with Scott. I'm actually going to hit with him this week as well over at the West location. And that's what I love about it, is that it's so much fun just going over there and being able to do the things I love. And that's why I love my MAC.
Shower reset.
(9:10) time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. The Cardinals and Angels play the second of 3 tonight in Anaheim, and the Cardinals will pitch Sonny Gray.
In Anaheim.
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 Yeah. And hopefully we'll...
Where's Albert lately, by the way?
I don't know who he's rooting for in this one. Maybe he's down in the Dominican.
Albert Pujols, is he down in?
Maybe. I think he might have gotten remarried, and he married.
Did.
Yeah, he married the daughter of the former Dominican president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Brooke, this is a bulletin for you, apparently official.
Okay.
Every team in the Arena League is moving. The Arena League set to hire former Titans head coach and Rams head coach Jeff Fisher as their interim commissioner today. Jeff Fisher, of course, hired by the Rams to oversee the move of the franchise to L.A. And the first year of the return of the Arena Football League has seen 4 of the 16 teams go by the wayside. And 4 teams closed up operations, and so 12 teams remain in operation. And Jeff Fisher is going to be the commissioner of the Arena Football League, and he owns the Nashville franchise. Do you know what the name of the Nashville franchise is?
I'm going to be really honest with you, Randy. This is the first time I've heard of Nashville having an Arena Football League.
Okay.
What is it?
It's the Nashville Cats.
Oh, wait. I have heard of them.
Okay.
I didn't know that was still around.
KATZ. Nashville Cats.
Wow.
He's a part owner. So Jeff Fisher set to become commissioner. So if you really want to enhance a business and make it better for its people, what you want to do is get Jeff Fisher involved.
Is he preparing for dismantling, like maybe what he did with the Rams? Is that what's happening here?
No, I think what he wants to do is he wants to expand to a 16-game schedule and have every single team go 7-9.
That's what that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's great football right there. What is happening? I'm going to be really honest with you, Randy, because the Cats is a throwback. I completely forgot about that, but I also forgot that the Arena Football League existed.
Yeah, well, it did come back. It stopped existing, and this is its first year back, so that's why. It's reasonable for you to forget.
It's like I thought that they went away.
Here's the thing. I don't think Jeff Fisher, at his core, is a bad guy. He did some cool stuff for the players, but he did lie about the whole thing, and said, I didn't know anything about the team moving, and then admitted when he left that he was taking the L.A. job and stuff like that. He's to me, part of the villain group, the villain triumvirate here.
Maybe a little bit forgotten in that situation, but you're right. He was involved with that. From the 618, it should be the Nashville 79ers.
Absolutely perfect. Yes.
That was good.
That's well done. Text line. So the Cardinals win last night 10-5 over the Angels, play them again tonight. Last night in the NHL, the Rangers take a 3-2 lead or maintain their lead over the Hurricanes. Hurricanes win game 5, 4-1. Rangers lead the series 3-2. Dallas moves the Avalanche to the brink of falling off the edge. Avalanche moving closer to the edge.
I see what you did there, Randy.
Dallas leading 3-1 after their 5-1 win last night. And in the NBA playoffs, Celtics lead the Cavaliers 3-1. Thunder over the Mavericks, and that series is now even at 2 games apiece.
Did you watch the Thunder last night? Is that the game that you switched over to after the Cardinals?
I did.
7th inning.
They're fun.
Explosion?
They're fun. And Matthew was telling me about their ages. It's just amazing what that franchise has been able to do. That Sam Presti, their general manager, Matthew, like all of their guys are like 23 or under, right?
What is the median age?
Last night, it's the lowest median age to ever finish with the number 1 seed, and I believe it was 23.6 or something like that for the roster. Wow. But I mean, the craziest thing is I think the number would be lower if you averaged out their closing lineup to win a game against a Luka and Kyrie-led Mavericks team. Their closing lineup last night was 19 years old, 20 years old, 22 years old, 23 years old, and 25 years old.
Wow.
That's absolutely insane.
You see, I have no skin in the game when it comes to the NBA. I'm not a fan of any particular team, so maybe I'll just jump on the Thunder bandwagon.
Yeah, they're young and fun.
They're young and fun. Well, and Jason Tatum, that's another good one with the Celtics, who, by the way, dropped 33 points again last night.
He's pretty good.
I think he is pretty good. I think that he's shutting down a lot of the haters. So maybe the other team is a Thunder that I will somewhat root for. It's always fun seeing a young, exciting team that you weren't expecting to do that.
Right.
Especially in the NBA during the playoffs. I feel like you don't see that as often.
And we are seeing passing of the baton from people like LeBron and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, especially in the West, to these, Luka's been around a little while now, and Kyrie is older, but to see the Thunder doing what they're doing, to see Minnesota doing what they're doing, it's pretty cool to see the passing of the baton. All right, that's your Rush Hour Reset here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, we talked about this earlier, and we want your input. Should the Cardinals call up Jordan Walker? He's hitting .326 now. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here, and I want to share with you something that I wish I knew about a while ago, and that is Golden Oak Lending. Listen, we've all been there before, possibly racking up credit card debt and even student loans. I know I've been there, but there's people over there at Golden Oak Lending, and they really care and they want to help you out. While credit card payments have been an all-time high and mortgage rates have gone through the roof, there is good news. Mortgage rates have started to come down. Golden Oak Lending has mortgage rates at 5.375% fixed, with customers saving on average $1,114 a month. Golden Oak just makes it so easy. I called in and spoke with Jason, who made the call just super quick and professional. He educated us on our current loan on our house and what to look for in the future. Financing stuff has never really been my thing, but Jason really made sure to educate us and guide us to the best solution for our needs. And that's what they do there at Golden Oak Lending. They give you personalized service that makes you feel heard and really addressing your needs and stress surrounding finances. So call today at 314-567-GOLD now to get started, or go to goldenoaklending.com and see the reviews for yourself and where to get started. 5.934% APR, FHA, 15-year fix with 20% equity and qualified credit. Additional terms apply. MLS number 114937.
Comments from Mo the other day to Aki over on KMOX on Sports on a Sunday Morning. Mo said, when asked about Oli Marmol and the pressure that he's under, he said, these are times that are difficult. I still think he understands the job. I think he knows how to manage. Now, this is Randy talking. That's an alarm bell right there. I still think he understands the job. I think he knows how to manage. But anyway, as an aside, I still think he understands the job. I think he knows how to manage, and I think he's trying to put the right combination of players in. But at some level, you've got to have some performance. Yeah, I understand fans are not happy with myself, and they're not happy with Oli. I don't think anything I say here today is going to change that. Randy speaking. You're correct about that. We have to keep trying to go back and get this to work, and we understand if it doesn't, people are going to be held accountable, and ultimately that starts with me. Do you think, and they talked about this yesterday on the Fast Lane, Brooke, do you think that Mo, based on that quote, is seeing his professional mortality?
Yes, because he does have to look at himself. The thing is, everything in this whole situation goes back to the front office. Whether you think Oli Marmol is a good manager or not, that still goes back to John Mozeliak, because who put Oli Marmol in that situation?
Mozeliak did.
And also this offseason, you knew that this was going to be the final year of Oli Marmol's contract. You let the whole offseason play out that way, and then randomly decided in spring training, hey, we don't want to have to have him deal with the pressure. Remember that quote where he said the pressure of winning, especially with some of these injuries. A lot of other teams are dealing with injuries right now. So you were going to let him be a lame duck manager going to the final year of his contract, and instead you give him a 2-year extension, basically saying that the pressure of winning might be too much. What does that even mean? And then the whole roster situation, because I do understand that there's only so much Oli Marmol can do, right? The players have to execute, and roster construction-wise, there's definitely some issues here that you're running into that you're currently seeing. Now, last night, fantastic, 100%, but you still have to look at overall the season, and the results is just not there, especially offensively, and you have some concerns right now with starting pitching, too, that are also starting to catch up. So where does the team go from here? Everything, to his point, to John Mozeliak's point, it all circles back to him.
Well, those guys have both said if we don't win a World Series, it will be a disappointment. That's what they told us. They didn't tell us like Doug Armstrong told us, hey, we aren't a Stanley Cup team. They're not like Tom Stillman sitting here and saying we aren't going to be elite. Doug Armstrong said, I hope we can finish third in our division. Hope we can be in the middle of that middle pack. That's what Doug Armstrong told us. The Cardinals told us it'll be a disappointment if we don't win a World Series. Those were Ollie Marmol's words last year. So he shouldn't blame anybody else because that's what he's saying. He's telling us to expect a world championship, right? So I've got that. And then Brooke, we talk about roster construction, sure. Okay? And I understand that Ollie doesn't have as much power as other managers in baseball. But I see Bruce Bochy go to a World Series with the Padres and win 3 World Series with the Giants and then go to the Rangers and win. I see Sparky Anderson go to Cincinnati and win and go to Detroit and win. I see Tony La Russa go to Oakland and win and go to St. Louis and win. I see Terry Francona go and have great success at Boston and then go to Cleveland and have great success. I don't think it's a coincidence that good managers move around and succeed in other places. I think good managers are good managers for a reason. And sure, you can say, I think he understands the job, but the fact of the matter is, this guy's been in last place since the beginning of last season. So you might think he understands the job, or you might think he knows how to manage, but the results aren't showing that. And he might be a great manager in a bad situation. But the fact of the matter is, he's been in last place since the beginning of the 2023 season.
And you have to do something at this point, because we've talked about that. You can't just sit here and do nothing at this point, because there has to be some sort of change. You have to pick a direction that you're going with this organization moving forward. And philosophically, there might be some differences, because it's not working out currently right now. And I think taking away Ollie Marmol from the situation, okay, you fire him, that's just a Band-Aid. And that's why I brought up overall there has to be a different philosophical approach when it comes to the front office as well. Do you think that if Ollie Marmol goes, that John Mozeliak would go as well?
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think there's a very good chance that
they would let John Mozeliak basically try to get this into the right direction again?
Yeah, or just wait out the year. I think they might do something optics. I could see them doing an optics move and promoting a coach just because things aren't going well, although I don't think that's going to happen either. But Mozeliak said this, people are going to be held accountable, and ultimately that starts with me. That doesn't mean that tells me that he's not prepared to hold himself accountable, that somebody else has to.
And I don't like that situation.
I don't either.
Because there has to be some sort of change here, because this is just not the right direction. We talk about it all the time. We had a whole segment on it earlier about Dylan Carlson and whatever is going on with him. But you've had regression, not just with your veterans, but you have to look at the young players and how they've been handled throughout this process. You can't have players who continue to leave this organization and do well without looking, okay, maybe if it's a couple of guys, you say, all right, yeah, some guys, they get into a better environment, different environment, they do really well. But there's an alarming trend that is happening, that you have people leaving this organization and doing better when they leave. And there's too many current examples to look at where you have to start looking at the organization saying, okay, why are we not able to maximize the most out of these players? And so that's an overhaul of a complete approach that you're seeing within the organization.
And they need to change that. The reason that this is a disaster right now, and despite winning 2 in a row, this is still, by Cardinal standards, a disaster, is that they have lost their way in regards to identifying talent that they have in their system and developing said talent. And you're exactly right. We go see Randy Arozarena win an ALCS MVP, and we see him win a Rookie of the Year. And then we see a top 5 prospect in baseball in Jordan Walker, who has to be sent back, or a guy that was a cold dead hands guy. John Mozeliak said it.
Zach Thompson is another one.
Yep. You'll have to, Thompson, a first round draft choice. Liberatore is another one that they got for Randy Arozarena. So at some point, they are going to have to look in the mirror and ask themselves, why are we not able to get this talent going? Dylan Carlson's 0 for 17. He doesn't have a hit since he came back.
Did not look great in the outfield.
Yeah, right. Jordan Walker is performing better at AAA. But it can't all be that these are 4A players. Not all these guys that were top 100 prospects from Baseball America and MLB Pipeline. It's got to be something else.
You have to get everything you can out of, especially your first rounders, because when we talk about payroll as well, now payroll with where it is at, a lot of it has to do with your starting rotation and how expensive it is. That's another thing. The pitching development side is a big concern that I have, because where do you go from there? If you're going to change the pitching approach, which is something that John Mozeliak talked about last year, more swing and miss, that's not something that you can just grow overnight. That takes time to develop, and it also requires trades. It also costs money to be able to bring that into your organization that hasn't maybe necessarily had that as their pitching approach for a while now. But at the same time, you have to be able to maximize your young talent, because even look at the situation we're currently in right now with the starting rotation. Steven Matt's injured, which is something that we have seen with him time and time again. Then Matthew Liberatore, who has been great out of the pen, he's now a starter. Of course, I would like to make sure that we know exactly who he is, but is this the best situation to be putting into? Because it seems similar to what we saw last year with other young pitchers. Are you putting them in the right positions to actually succeed and know their value and what you're able to get out of them?
And you have ask any player that's played for a great manager or a great organization. Ask anybody that played for Tony. Ask anybody that played for Joe Torre. Ask anybody that played for Whitey. They knew their role and had a reasonable expectation of what their role was going to be on a day-to-day basis. And I don't think you can say that for this group.
No, it doesn't feel like it right now.
That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up, Roman Burki is recruiting a great player to St. Louis City SC. Are efforts like this helping? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, this is Brooke for the Face and the Body Spa and Salon. Guys, it's time to focus on your own self-care. As we get ready for summer, I want you to check out the Face and Body for Men. You can rely on Face and Body for hair removal, weight loss, body sculpting, skincare, as well as PRP treatment for hair growth. This past Friday, my fiance David and I, we actually went to the Brentwood location to try out laser hair removal for his back to get ready for the summer and also for the wedding and the honeymoon, because he wants to look good during that. And it was super quick and easy. It only took 15 minutes from when we walked in there. They lasered his entire back. He was in and out. They said that he will start to see results in a couple of treatments, and it was just super easy to do. And with 6 area locations, I'm confident that you will be wowed by the experience at the Face and the Body Spa and Salon too. Call them today at 314-725-8975 or learn more at thefaceandbodyspa.com. That is thefaceandbodyspa.com.
This is Rocc with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals yesterday with a big 10-5 win over the Angels, their first double-digit scoring victory of the season. Cardinals will be back in action, facing off against the Angels again for Game 2 tonight. It'll be an 8:38 first pitch. It'll be Sonny Gray on the mound for the Cardinals, facing off against a lefty for the Angels, Reed Detmers. Last night in the NBA playoffs, Celtics over the Cavaliers 109-102. They've now taken a commanding 3-1 lead in that series, and the Thunder came back late against the Mavericks for a 196 victory to tie up that series at 2 games apiece. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
So the Cardinals historically. Oh, do I need a microphone? Okay.
Do you
Dan's
need a
not here, and it
microphone?
throws me off when I can't turn all
okay.
the mics all the mics on at once.
Understood.
Sorry.
The Cardinals have done a great job over the years. Their players have of recruiting other players. Matt Holliday does a great job. He was one of the big factors in the Cardinals getting Nolan Arenado here. Adam Wainwright was huge in was kind of the driving force in bringing Albert Pujols back. The Cardinals players have really tried hard to get players into the Cardinal uniform. Kurt Warner did that when he was with the Rams, too, here in St. Louis. Roman Burki is recruiting Marco Reus, not Jerry's brother, to play for St. Louis City SC. And Matthew, you've got the actual text of what Marco has written, or not Marco, but Roman has written on social media.
Well, yeah, it was actually a video, and he was spoken in German, obviously. So there's no point in me playing.
By the way,
here.
Marco Reus, you mentioned German.
Yes.
He did not go to Rittner like Jerry Reus did.
No, he did not. No.
Okay.
I don't know how high school works. I think you just go to high school inside of your academy in Europe.
Okay.
So he was a long time Borussia Dortmund player, very, very dominant. I'm not sure if that's where his academy was, because sometimes players slip around, but that's where he played his majority of his career.
When he gets here, we'll ask what high school he went to.
Exactly. So Burki pops up on Instagram, sends a message to Marco, mentions him here, and says, "Hey Marco, if you see this could be your new facility. I'll give you a little preview." He walks around the opening, walks into the weight room, says, "That is the weight room. A few of the boys are already training." He says, "Of course, this is also important for you. It's right out in front of the front door of the practice fields. It's a good place. Everyone already knows your name. Everyone knows you. The captain's armband is also ready. There's the new stadium," and he points the camera because you can see it from the training facility. "There's the new stadium. I can imagine you with the number 11 to run in there." So when you see it, Marco, we are ready for you.
I love that.
I love that so much, too. Burki is such a great addition to the St. Louis sports scene, and then I think a legend, a St. Louis sports legend in the making, because of what you're talking about there, what he's able to do for this team. One, building this from the ground up and being a part of it and wanting to come, he really does care so much about growing this team, growing this into something big. And also the recruiting part of this, as you mentioned, Randy, some of the great players that we've had here through St. Louis, they do a great job of recruiting, and now he's doing that right now. Now, the possibility of that happening, maybe, Rocc, you can weigh in on this. What does that look like? Can this actually feasibly happen for City SC?
Oh, I mean, financially, yeah, because and it's really confusing. They can knock down 2 of their current designated players with TAM money to turn them into TAM players.
What's TAM?
Targeted allocation money.
Okay,
which is different than GAM, which is general allocation money.
Got it.
So you can knock down 2 of the. So you can knock down one of your DP spots. Then you open up the DP spot, and then at that point, Marco Reus would only count I think it's $612,000 or something like that. He would only count the designated player salary against your salary cap, $612,000. But you can pay him well above that. But also, I mean, he is a guy who this is the MLS's profile a little bit. You get guys who are 34, 35, who have been longtime names. In a league like the Bundesliga. He was at Dortmund. He did start his career at Mönchengladbach, which is a different club. But they're all big Bundesliga clubs. He's literally had double-digit goal contributions every season of his career that he hasn't been monumentally injured. He's hit 20 a bunch of times as well. He's a very good player. He's definitely older, and he's definitely been injury-riddled for a good chunk of his career. Those are kind of the big red flags. The other thing is obviously Lutz knows him, Edu knows him. Roman obviously played with him on the same team for a very long time. He's super talented. You need a little bit more punch from your wingers, even though those guys are playing really well this year. Getting any more punch would certainly help this scheme. I don't think he has the best reputation necessarily as like tracking back and being a huge presser, but Dortmund has played schemes, high pressing schemes for large chunks while he's been there, so he certainly knows that scheme as well.
And Sky Germany, though, now here's something to watch for, because there's another MLS team that is possibly wanting him as well, and that is, of course, Inter Miami. They want everything nice here too, but here's a positive that works in City SC's direction with this, is that Miami doesn't have a designated player spot, so it seems like City SC would be a locker.
Yeah, and there's a report today coming out from Fansided that there's a couple of Euro stars who are being circled by San Diego, which is going to be coming in as an expansion franchise into the MLS next year. The name Kevin De Bruyne was even on that list, which seems kind of insane. I guess I didn't realize how old he's starting to get. So yeah, you're not the only one in there, and the way that you can move around money, there's always going to be availability. The big thing is that you have the inside track record, because Roman and Marco are obviously very close friends.
What about, is there going to be room for Mbappe?
That might be out of the question.
In like 7 years after he wraps up his run with Real Madrid, sure, fine.
Darn it. Okay. One other point here: when St. Louis City SC hired Diego Giuliani, is that right?
I think it's hard G's. I think it's hard G's. Yes, with Giuliani.
Okay, Giuliani as president. One of the things that they said in their release was that Carolyn Kindle wanted to focus on making St. Louis City SC more of a global brand. It would seem like, with the acquisitions that were made during the offseason, and especially if they could make this one, that will go towards making St. Louis City SC more of a global brand. Am I wrong about this?
Yeah, I mean, these are the moves you have to make. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's not what you want, but it's the reality is the MLS has been boosted up at different points by big European names, and obviously David Beckham's the big one, and Lionel Messi is a big one, but there's dozens of other smaller names that made huge splashes on the MLS. You can look at guys like there's only going to be a very small amount of people who are going to know names like Sebastian Giovinco makes a huge splash. Joseph Martinez, he's coming from South America, but he comes in.
Those don't seem like smaller names. They seem like bigger names.
He comes to Atlanta United. That's good. He comes to Atlanta United right out of the gate, and he's blasting in goals. And so to get these names that people have never heard of, but to come in and show class and take up the level of the game, that's the important part. So getting a big Euro import, I always wanted Vedad Ibisevic, who played here for SLU.
Yeah, Vedad.
But he just was 30. He was 36 years old, also a German, a guy who's been playing over in Germany. He was 36. I think he's 37 now. He was 36 when they started, and it was just a little bit to the point where if St. Louis City starts 2 or 3 years earlier, he would have been the perfect player. Now, this is a good one. You already have some German kind of roots here on the team. Go out and get a big name like Marco Reus. I mean, this is a guy that, as somebody like me who didn't get into European soccer until I was in college, and so this is around 2009, 2010, Marco Reus is one of the first names that I ever heard about, like a young, up-and-coming star in Europe that I actually like Borussia Dortmund's one of the first teams I ever actually woke up on a Saturday to watch at 8 o'clock in the morning in my entire life of watching European football. So this is a big move, and everyone I know who's between 26 years old and 35 years old, around my age group, heard this name and their ears perked up. It was real. I mean, Action Jackson's a great example. He's like 25, 26. He's younger than me. His ears perked up, and I know a lot of guys who I knew back in college, when they heard the name Marco Reus, that was like, okay, let's go. This is a guy that I would buy a ticket to go see. And that's how you move things.
So Jerry Royce, Marco's cousin, maybe, won 220 major league games of 220 and 191. As we mentioned, attended Rittner High, pitched for the first 3 years of his career here in St. Louis with the Cardinals. Who would be the best Royce to ever perform in St. Louis? Would it be Jerry or Marco?
How long did Jerry perform here?
3 years.
I see. Marco's, he's only he's 35. I think you'd only have probably 3 years of him. So I think Jerry might have the longevity factor on him.
Okay. And Jerry did pitch for 22 years in Major League Baseball.
I think Jerry might be able to outlast him. But then again, I mean, come on. German superstar. What we want?
German.
I've never heard of Jerry Royce.
That's true. Good point.
How do you spell Royce for Jerry?
R-E-U-S-S.
RUSS? Really? Okay.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah. So Rittner's pride of Rittner.
We'll have to ask Royce when he comes to town here. I'm talking about the other Royce.
Yeah,
Marco.
Where he went to high school.
Yeah, and if he knows cousin Jerry.
I love the hustle.
How's Jerry doing?
I love the hustle from Burki. The fact that he said the captain's armband is ready for you as well. Like, that's a guy who understands. Like, if this team just gets better, my job gets a little bit easier. And he wants trophies. He came here because he could have won with Dortmund. He won some things with Dortmund at times. They're always kind of second fiddle to Munich, but still, he won pretty good there. But he wanted to play and he wants to win, and now he's going for both here at City. And so I love Burki. I also love that, I guess because they're different leagues, and I guess because the leagues are in different confederations, I guess FIFA doesn't have a rule about interleague tampering. If a guy's
I was wondering
he's
about
still
that.
under contract for Borussia Dortmund. The thing about soccer is that when you have 6 months left on your contract, you can negotiate your contract with other teams. But I don't know. I've never dove into the rules here. I guess there are no rules about players from those teams directly coming out and trying to recruit you, which I think is fantastic. I'm all about less rules and regulations.
Was the video just leaked? Is that how
it was on
got
Instagram?
Out? Oh, so Burki actually put it out on
Burki just
Instagram.
posted it on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think he DM'd it. No,
because I just saw it on social media, so I didn't know if somebody had released it. I didn't know it came directly off his Instagram. Now, with growing the global brand, because I know that's something that Carolyn Kindle and STLCitySC wants to do, how do you think that Germans feel about this? Have they been able to? Do you think that they're paying attention more to STLCitySC because of this, with Roman Burki and the guys that you have from Bundesliga going over there?
Europeans hate MLS.
That's what I think
because there's
too.
no promotion and relegation. So
but I think it helps
Europeans
if you
hate
have
the MLS.
When you're trying to grow it, having more players like that come over here to any MLS team helps.
Yeah. Right. Those people will pay attention to their former player, right?
But they do think, I feel like the perception on their part is that they just see us as lesser than.
But there is,
they do.
I mean, you get guys who are that delved into a city and a team, and people will tune into City games in different ways. I mean, it's a weird thing with soccer, but people follow favorite players like any other sport. And so I think there will be a small weird contingent of German fans or Dortmund fans who are like, yeah, we love watching Marco at City if he succeeds.
Back in my day, when I was a youngster, the best player on the Cardiac Cardinals, the football Cardinals, was Terry Metcalf. And he left and went to the CFL, played for the Toronto Argonauts. And I tried to get all the information I could about Terry Metcalf.
Well, to your point, I was trying to think if there was an example for this, but I could not put my finger on it. I just did. Jabulo Blum, who's not even, I mean, he's not a legend coming out of the South African domestic league like Marco Reus is coming out of the German league. So, I mean, if you look at the fact that you'll always see, especially that first season last year, you always saw people on Twitter tweeting at St. Louis City or reposting Jabulo Blum highlights because he was South African. And so take that to a guy who is a national level player at a much bigger country in Germany compared to South Africa, and there's maybe your comparison right there.
Coming up next year on 101 ESPN, we've got Rock and Roll. Plus, we're going to give away some tickets. The first Beer Fridays. We're going to give away some tickets for the Cardinals and the Red Sox on Friday. Next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you're looking for a great place for lunch or a happy hour or maybe a fantastic dinner tonight, then you should head on over to the Fenton Bar and Grill on Rudder Road in Fenton. If you go to the soccer park, you're 2 minutes away from the Fenton Bar and Grill. Just follow the road, Rudder Road, to the Fenton Bar and Grill, and you will smell the best trashed wings that you'll ever have when you pull into the parking lot. They're making them all day long, and they are absolutely delectable. You'll love the trashed wings at Fenton Bar and Grill because they're the best wings that you'll ever have. And add some of their signature golden sauce, their award-winning golden sauce, or some ranch, and you will have a fantastic appetizer to a beautiful meal. And whether it's a turkey sandwich or maybe their chicken Caesar wrap, which is delicious, they have an array of great items on your menu, and you'll love everything about the menu. And then the staff is amazing. You get to say hi to Kelly, the feisty redhead, who by the way, agrees that Brooke is a feisty redhead, and say hi to Megan. And yeah, you're all of you redheads, all of you gingers, you're official. You'll just enjoy the Fenton Bar and Grill. It's a great place to go. You'll love the people. You'll love the food. Tell them Randy sent you. I love it, and you will too. The Fenton Bar and Grill. Learn more at FentonBarandGrill.com.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
Brooke, Matthew, and Randy, and we've got tickets for you for First Beer Friday. First Beer Friday at the ballpark. The Cardinals are going to be playing the Red Sox, and we have your chance to win a pair of tickets for the game against the Red Sox on Friday night at Busch. First Beer Friday tickets start at just $15 and will include your first cold beer on the house. Get all the ticket info for this Friday night's First Beer Friday game now at Cardinals.com/Friday. Text in. If you can answer this question, text in to 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. And you can win a pair of tickets to the Cardinals game Friday night against the Red Sox. I've got an easy one for you. When the Cardinals defeated the Red Sox in the 1967 World Series, the dream season, the impossible dream Red Sox, when the Cardinals defeated those Red Sox, who was the MVP of the World Series? Texter number 45 will win the tickets. Texter 45 to 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO wins those tickets. All right, Matthew, what do you got for us?
We weren't able to get to this today, but I quote now from Bill Simmons on his podcast on Monday morning. One of the funniest things ever is that we're all pretending the TV deal wasn't done like a week and a half ago. I think it's done. I think Warner already lost it. I don't know why we're waiting till after the playoffs. Maybe that's how they have to do it, but it's a wrap. NBC's getting it. That was Bill Simmons on his podcast with Ryan Russillo early on Monday, talking about the NBA's new TV deal and how it looks like it's going to be leaving the cable for NBC, which means, of course, that inside the NBA, because Ernie will never leave Turner, which it doesn't matter how much money you throw at all three of them. Ernie's never leaving Turner. Those are his guys. They've been sticking behind him for so very long. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at Chuck and Shaq inside the NBA. As we know it, maybe they get like a small deal to do like a couple games here and there, but the usual consistency of inside the NBA seems like it's going to end.
I hate that.
I do too. I hate it, although I do like getting the song back.
God, the song is epic.
But here's the thing that I wonder. What's NBC going to do with this product?
I have no
They
idea.
got rid of
No
NBC
idea.
Sports Network. Do they even have a sports channel anymore?
Peacock's
Ooh, that's
Peacock's
a
going
good
to
question.
isn't
Peacock?
it? Are they going to do? I guess they're going to make a Peacock streaming.
So you have to pay for it?
You're going to put it on Peacock?
That's what I'm saying, but that's their streaming service now. I'm not wrong. Peacock, yeah, NBC
I think
Peacock.
it is.
I was like, I've watched
Yeah.
30 Rock enough to know
That's
this joke.
brutal. That's terrible. Because they dumped they got out of sports. They got rid of NBC Sports Network. That's what the hockey was on.
But maybe that's the thing. You get this big deal. Maybe part of the NBA's thing is you have to launch something separately.
Yeah.
We don't know what the actual. That's the thing about Bill Simmons saying it's done, but they haven't announced yet. We don't actually know some of the details. There are some things if you dig real deeply about rumors, people about saying what kind of particulars are going to be about the deal. But the bottom line is the NBA knew that they needed to get a bigger deal money-wise to keep the same kind of revenue and cap thing flowing. But you just severed your greatest connection and conduit to your fan base. I mean, there are casual NBA fans who would not watch a lot of. I don't even know how to describe you as a casual NBA fan because I think you're the next rung below that because the 82 games regular season, especially during the 82 game regular season, what I'm saying.
A step below a casual NBA fan,
Only
according to
because
Rocc.
I'm saying the NBA fans I was going to describe are the ones who they will watch a fair amount of regular season games just because they're on TNT. But people like you, Brooke, won't even watch a lot of regular season games. But that's the only reason sometimes you get to a playoff game too is because you know you're going to get Shaq and Charles. And so to not even have that for the base level NBA fans, that's a huge loss. And again, it's all about money, but eyes still matter. Ratings are still something people talk about and harp on. This is a weird. I just think this is might be a short-sighted move for the NBA.
I agree.
The whole reason you tune in, it's because of that. It's pure entertainment. Some of the best commentary that I've ever listened to. And it's just fun. Just the chemistry that they all have together. That's hard to beat.
If you're Adam Silver, if I were Adam Silver, if it were close, if TNT's in the ballpark, they're keeping it.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what it was.
You
You're
should
probably
do.
right. NBC probably had to go above and beyond.
Yeah, they shouldn't have to go above and beyond because they have enhanced your product so much. And not only are you losing inside the NBA, which is awesome, but Kevin Harlan is the best basketball broadcaster in the business. You're losing Harlan. Spiro Ditas will probably move, although he does CBS for CBS football, right? As does Kevin. So I just think this is a bad move on their part. I think there are good TV moves and bad TV moves. I don't see the positive in this one, and I'm not buying Peacock for the NBA. I'm not, and I'm not a typical fan. I'll see enough games on ESPN, but I won't buy Peacock to watch the NBA. So that's
especially when you don't know what you're getting with that.
Right. Yeah. So I'll see if I can get my free Peacock. I'll use like multiple email addresses and stuff.
And just eventually they'll catch on because they might use IP address for that as well, Randy.
Okay, well, I'll move a lot.
Randy,
that's how IP addresses work.
Get ready to learn VPN.
Yeah. Well, I can work on that.
Yes, VPN is the big thing there.
All right. Did we have a winner yet? We should have had a winner for the tickets.
Assuming the majority of people on the text line were guessing the right answer, we just had to pick which one was the right answer.
Okay, did we pick one, Michael?
Guesser.
We did. The winner of the MVP of the 1967 World Series, most of you knew, Bob Gibson. Number 45. Texture number 45 should have been a dead giveaway. Just like 37 yesterday was for Derek Lowe.
You always leave little clues, Randy.
Try to, but then sometimes I switch it up and trick people.
That's mean.
Yeah, what's that like?
Kind of mean.
Cruel.
Yeah, who does that?
Cool.
Who would switch things up to confuse somebody? What?
Yeah. So we have a balloon party coming up with T-Mac and Ajax, followed by BK and Ferrario from 11 to 2, and then 2 to 6. You got the fast lane. Is CD on vacation this week? He wasn't on yesterday. I don't know if he's sick.
Yes, he is.
Okay. Danny Mac is sick, and he hopefully will be back with us tomorrow. Great job today by our producer, audio, video engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio.
Pleasure.
Brooke, did you have fun today?
Yes, and I found my keys. For the people who were listening very early this morning, I was a little late because I couldn't find my keys, and I texted David, and I said, can you find my keys? Because he has the AirTag tracker, and it's in our house. So I was able to at least get backup keys to get here, but the keys have been found, and he's going to force me to put whatever the AirTag finder is on my phone. I don't want to. You still don't even know what it's called. And that's how Randy finds his keys, with a little jingle.
He's a young man. He's a young man.
Hold on, it's called a tile, and it's fabulous. And it's on Amazon for like $7.99.
I have an
And I find my
AirTag.
keys all the time. I actually lost my keys I lost this set of keys for like 3 months underneath a recliner.
You see, so I'm not alone here.
Oh,
Brooke
no.
having to come with terms that she's old is really hard to watch in real time.
That I'm old? No, 100%. There's some things that I'm very advanced in when it comes to technology. And then it's things like this, where it's working an AirTag and somehow putting it on my phone where I can find it, where it's just over my head.
Because that's not technology.
We're going to do a
But
segment tomorrow.
I can edit videos all day long. I'm really good at that, but I just can't do things like that.
The sentence was, I'm really good at technology, except for AirTags.
I don't know.
So
I don't know how to use those things.
So tomorrow we're doing a segment. We'll put the show together right after we finish this show. Tomorrow we're going to do a segment on the weirdest place you've ever lost a wallet, phone, or keys.
Oh, I have many.
I picked up. This is terrible.
Oh, no.
So I picked up I don't know why. It was change. I was looking for change that had fallen out of my pocket underneath underneath the recliner. I pick up the recliner. There's like 7 balls that the dogs loved. There were a bunch of Skittles, and then my keys were there. I had no idea.
What a nice surprise.
I don't know how old the Skittles were, but they were delicious.
Oh, no. Randy, don't say that.
I don't think they spoil. Hey, we thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. For all of us, until tomorrow morning at 7, have a happy Taco Tuesday, St. Louis.
Oh, it is. Hey everyone, it's Brooke here for Universal Windows Direct. Spring is here and it's only going to get hotter from here. Do not cool off the